We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hope you're doing well in the storm. It's here. Hurricane Dorian, just off the coast. And some people probably look out their window and can say a little hello. Fortunately enough off the coast to not cause too much havoc on the entire First Coast in Northeast Florida, but certainly the beach is taking a little bit of a pounding. We hope to give you a little bit of a reprieve from all the weather, especially if you have a bit of cabin fever and are locked in like most people are with just about everything closed, although I will say Wawa was open. So I went and grabbed the coffee.
Shout out to Wawa.
Yeah, not bad. There are some places open, but I think for the most part, not necessarily even from a business impact for some of them, I think more from an employee impact and keeping everybody safe and doing the right thing closed throughout the area. So welcome aboard here on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Kuz is here as well. And as I said yesterday, and as we'll continue to remind you, if you want to see some of the coverage from the weather standpoint, and this is about when it's right off the coast, is right about now and all afternoon, and then likely to get out of here later tonight around 8 o'clock and beyond is what Mike Burrish has been telling us for days and days, and especially today. But you can check out all the coverage on TV on CBS 47 and on Fox 30. Nobody better than Mike Burrish and the First Alert Weather Team, keeping you calm, telling you how it is, and just giving you the latest. And also you can hear the updates on the weather side on the radio on 104.5 FM. But we are here to talk sports for the most part. We will be joined by Coach Yo, former Jacksonville University women's basketball coach. She will join us later today. She has practice until 4:30. She's now the head coach at Ole Miss of the women's basketball team. Did a nice job here at JU. Well, she has family and friends in the Bahamas, and she has started a GoFundMe to try to already get ahead of some of the efforts to raise funds for those that were impacted in a big-time way down in the Bahamas from Hurricane Dorian. It just sat there for a couple of days. So Coach Yo, who's really a fun person to be around, we are thoughts and prayers with her family and so many others. She will join us a little bit later from Ole Miss, and how you can maybe help out and get involved. If you remember Coach Yo from the JU Dolphins days as a women's basketball coach. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. Ryan O'Halloran joins us in the 5 o'clock hour. Hey, we're talking NFL, baby. It is starting up in about 24 hours. Excited about that. And then it's a game week for the Jags. Usually, this would be a big day for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'd have gone down there and talked to the Jags in the locker room and the players and kind of get our stories all set up for the week. We would have Coach Marone talking. They'd be on the practice field. It's a big day. It's usually a big Wednesday is the day of the week when it comes to prepping for the next game and kind of getting that in motion. Well, obviously it didn't happen for the Jags. We told you yesterday, we told you for the last few days that Jags did not practice today. They will get back at it tomorrow at noon, and it looks like they won't have any problems getting back in the stadium tomorrow at noon and then on with the rest of their week. But everybody else around the NFL is getting after things. It's a normal Wednesday for just about everybody else.
They are, and it's kind of like we talked about yesterday a little bit. Yes, it kind of sucks that you have to miss a practice, especially a Wednesday practice, which is usually the most physical day that you're going to do because you were in full pads and everything. Most teams, the way it's set up now in the NFL is Wednesday you go full pads, Thursday you go shells. Unless you come from an old school mentality, then I think Wednesday you go full pads along with Thursday you go full pads till about the middle of the season, and then you kind of taper off from there. But I think the fact that they've had a lot of time to prepare for Kansas City now, I think with technology these days, like even when I played, you could kind of run like a meeting off your little iPad that they gave you. I imagine now it's even more intricate where you could literally just set up a team meeting, watch film, the coaches can talk to you, what to watch, everything like that. So from that standpoint, I'm not too worried about them missing the mental aspects of it more than the physical aspects, obviously.
Back in the day when I played, the iPads.
I know.
Might not have worked like they used to work.
You have to remember, I mean, my first year, 2010, with Coach Del Rio, we still had like the old playbook. Like it was an actual notebook, and it was like the King James edition, like super thick. You know what I'm saying? And if you lost that thing, it was like $20,000. But now, you know, they have the iPads and everything. There's an app you just download everything from. So yeah, super convenient now.
It is amazing. I'm telling you. You talk about the technology.
Yeah.
And we might hear from Coach Marone on the technology part of this, what they can do.
Sure.
I brought it up a little bit yesterday. We're talking a little bit now. But what I'm amazed at is the technology on the high school football level. I mean, you go now, and they've got the ability. There's this huddle program that most high schools use.
That's what the NFL uses too,
and
actually.
the NFL uses.
Yeah.
So it's a great program. But what now they can do in some of the setups, not everybody, but a lot of people do, from Union County to Trinity Christian to Bowles to wherever, is, I mean, they've set up the TV, the big screen TV on the sideline, and they have a tent, and they will huddle like the NFL guys look at the pictures. They will huddle around and look at that video. Now, it's not kind of like individual-based pictures like they do in the NFL, but, I mean, they are right there. They have the play 15 seconds later that they want to look at. I mean, it's amazing, the technology, even on the high school level, that's really inexpensive. I asked somebody the other day, the program they were using, I think this one was, what was it? Oh, it was Colquitt County when they had come. Now, Colquitt County, they spare no expense when it comes to football.
Yeah.
They're up in Georgia. But the program that they were using at the time, I think he said, oh, this is only like $500, $1,000 to whatever, do this. And there was another program that you get to like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. So it's a bit of an investment. But if you think about it, if it lasts a while and the usage of it, both like from a team that night, a team during the week, and from a recruiting standpoint, what it does for these kids, whew, I mean, it's amazing. The technology is unreal.
So some of my fondest memories took place during a game on the sidelines because, you know, if you play defensive line or even on the defense, what they used to do back in the day is they used to have like a photographer just take pictures, and then they print the pictures, and you can kind of see like, you know, what happened on the play, what you need to work on, things like that. Well, I think 2011 they implemented, I think Microsoft was the company that ended up sponsoring the NFL. So they had like these little tablets and everything. So instead of getting like the pictures printed up, now you have like a tablet. And for whatever reason, you know, like Joe Cullen's an old school kind of guy. I'm a former defensive line coach. Joe Cullen, old school kind of guy. When I went to Kansas City, I think Coach Brashear, he was like mid-60s at the time, maybe even 70 years old. And then in Chicago, I had a defensive line coach who's in his like late 60s as well. So these three guys, man, some of the fondest memories is like when they try to work this tablet, because, you know, it's newer technology, right? And nothing like clashes more than newer technology.
The tablet?
Hey, I'm not exaggerating. I've probably seen a Microsoft tablet spiked. If the over-under's at 10, it's definitely over. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen it spike so many times, and then, you know, the poor like guys that are signed to help out coach, like, you know, they're trying to help him out, and he's cussing at them, and like every single team I was on, because there's a bunch of old school coaches on the defensive line, could not work the tablet, man.
That's really a great example of how those coaches had to learn. Right?
You have to adapt. You
know, that old school mentality to the new wave, and so, you know, some things you don't have to do if you don't want to do it. Normal everyday life, like. My father-in-law doesn't have a cell phone. I mean, he's 85, but he doesn't have a cell phone. He don't want one. Yeah. You know, it took my mom a long time to get a cell phone. You know, she still sends mail. So, I mean, that's fine, you know, postcards and stuff like that. Yeah. So you don't have to. But in that world, to be efficient and swift and keep up with everybody else, you better adjust to the technical advances, technological advances, because it will really aid you. And it's just so much quicker. Everything's so much quicker for you, and you can get more done in a short amount of time.
But it's funny as a player because some things just stick with you. You know, like when I was first coming up in the league, you have to take notes. And regardless, you have to take notes in the NFL. I mean, that's preached upon. And, you know, usually we had like a notebook that they gave us to take notes on. Well, eventually got to the point where you had your, you know, your app and everything. You had your little tablet, and you could take notes right on the tablet. I hated to do that for whatever reason, because I felt like I retained more information if I write down in my little notebook. Hence why if you see me at Jags practice or during training camp, I had a notebook where I'd write down. Now,
or he writes on his hand.
Or also write on my hand. Because
that's old school.
To be fair, it got a little warm and everything, and the sun kind of made it hard to see like my notebook. So I would kind of take a note on my cell phone, then go home and write down my notebook. So I just have a notebook full. But
fascinating.
That's kind of the old school person in me.
I guess long story short is the Jags can get stuff done. And they're getting stuff done even though they're not out on a football field today. Hey, okay, big story around the NFL. While you were sleeping, right? Zeke Elliott, they get it done.
Chalking up for the NFL players, Brent.
The NFL player wins big here. The agent wins big here. Running backs across the league might win big here because he reset it again.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. The numbers don't lie on Zeke Elliott. This guy's been really good. He makes that engine go on offense. You're not going to put everything on Dak Prescott. Absolutely not. But what I thought was interesting is we can all debate, and we will debate. We'll have a little conversation about just how valuable is it to have a running back and how much should you invest, especially in a second contract on a running back. This is a 6-year. It turns into an 8-year deal, really, for Zeke Elliott. I mean, it's crazy how long it is. Now, nobody ever sees the end of contracts, so that part doesn't matter. But it's a rich deal, and the comparison was to Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
Well, Todd Gurley's been fantastic. But isn't Todd Gurley like a major red flag in this conversation, too? They're talking about an arthritic knee now and a guy that couldn't really be a healthy last year, and nobody really knew why at the end when they needed him most. So isn't that a little bit of buyer beware on the running back side of things? Well, Dallas said, hey, we don't care about that. Zeke who? Yeah. That doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Zeke everything. And they make the big-time investment worth almost $100 million.
So the highest-paid running back in the NFL. And if you were to go around the league right now and discuss who are some of the most stubborn NFL owners, I think Jerry Jones would be up there as one of the most stubborn. And you kind of heard the narrative throughout this whole holdout, the fact that Jerry Jones is saying, Zeke who? We're not worried about him. We expect him to miss games. Almost like Jerry Jones was kind of showing his cards a little bit and saying, listen, we're going to win without you. So either you're going to be here for your first deal, or you're just going to sit out and we'll win games without you. And that's what I thought it was going to be. I did not see this deal coming because I felt like if Zeke was to win this deal, which he did, almost $100 million, highest paid running back, I felt like if Zeke won this deal, well, yeah, once again, you put it on the board for the NFL players, but it's almost like I don't want to say Jerry Jones got bossed around or anything because, they're on the same team, right? Like the whole goal is to put a roster together to win football games. But at the same time, to be the highest paid, Dallas, or to be the highest paid running back right now in the league when he didn't have to be, that's another example of players believing in themselves.
Yeah,
Brent.
but one thing that is about Jerry Jones is he's not cheap.
Yeah.
He's not cheap. And I think he wants to take care of players. Their situation was interesting because they had so many guys to take care of. And now if you look at what they've done, look at GM Jerry. Forget about owner and rich guy Jerry. Look at GM Jerry. They've taken care of that offensive line. They're well invested up front. An offensive line that's been to over double-digit Pro Bowls if you add them all up. They took care of Dak Prescott in a way that said, hey, I'm going to take care of your offensive line. I'm going to keep your running back. Now we'll see what else happens.
Sure.
Well, now there's Cooper and Dak Prescott to take care of, but they are keeping that together and keeping their offensive side of the football together for now. And Jerry Jones is smart enough to do that. Where does it land him? Is this a bad deal down the road? Probably. It probably is. There's no way they're going to get 8 great years out of Ezekiel Elliott. I'll take the under on that right now.
Yeah.
They just won't. But for the immediate, for the next couple of years, for the next 3 years, now they have to win. And this is a franchise now that has been as relevant as they come because they're the Dallas Cowboys. But the Jaguars have won more postseason games in the last 20 years than the Dallas Cowboys have. Don't lose sight of that. They've done nothing since winning those Super Bowls with Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith. They've done absolutely nothing despite having some talent, having Tony Romo, and now this group of players. They've got to be on the move. And I think Jerry Jones realized that a little bit, too, is say, hey, we can't afford to go 0-2, just what if? We got to get this thing done. We got to get him in here. And, hey, Kuz, chalk it up for another one. I was right, by the way. Said Ezekiel Elliott will be here and play on the first week of the year.
You were right on that one. You want to hear something interesting, Brent? Texans didn't go to the playoffs last year, correct? They did not.
No, Texans did.
Oh, did they go to the?
Did Texans and Titans go?
No, because the Colts.
Texans and did the Titans and Colts go? I thought 2 from the AFC South went.
Okay, regardless.
What year am I talking about? What year am I living in?
We'll look it up. But I have the 10 highest paid running backs right now, and you tell me how they worked out for their team so far.
Okay, do I have to tell you the 10 highest paid?
I'm telling you right now.
Todd Gurley, of course.
Todd Gurley
went to the Super Bowl.
Elliott, went to the Super Bowl.
Ezekiel Elliott, they went to the playoffs. Dallas did, right?
Le'Veon Bell. Correct.
Le'Veon Bell sat out last year.
Yep. David Johnson.
Gets hurt all the time.
Devontae Freeman for the Falcons. Yeah.
No.
Saquon Barkley. He's on his rookie deal.
He looks like he's going to be the part.
Jerick McKinnon.
Saquon Barkley, by the way, is one of the highest paid running backs because off that rookie deal alone.
He's got a total value of $31 million. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah. What's the deal with him right now? Did he just get? I saw him on the news the other day. Recently, was he hurt?
He's coming off of an injury. He should be ready to go for the regular season because I think it's between him and Tavon Coleman too, if I'm not mistaken, is in San Fran as well.
Okay.
So this is surprising. The next guy.
I better learn this stuff for our fantasy football draft tomorrow.
Leonard Fournette's next.
Because Saquon Barkley's deal, he's a rookie too. Well, Fournette's was picked top 5, so he's going to have that similar deal. Again, now, listen, I will tell you, on the Fournette thing, it was a disaster last year, but you're not convincing this guy that Fournette didn't help you get to an AFC championship game. Yep. So there's been some value there.
Lamar Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? He's top 10?
Top 10.
Nah, that's overpaid. I mean, he's a nice player when healthy, but he's not.
And then right below him, Duke Johnson.
Really?
Yep.
Well, see, they're resetting the market now. Those 10, are some newer deals.
Well, and here's 10, Giovanni Bernard.
Well, and he just got paid.
Just got paid, yep.
So, yeah, I mean, listen.
That's my point is like, you know.
Well, and that's how people feel about the running back position. Was this the right move for the Dallas Cowboys? And it's a great move for running backs because, like you said, Zeke and Gurley and Bernard and guys like Bernard are now already they're reaping the benefits of deals from Gurley and Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
You know? Yep. And so that will happen. And that's good for the player. Mm-hmm. I'm not against the player in that. I think it's more about the value of position. And there's the other part of it. I have no problem with teams spending money. None. It's not my money. I don't care. As long as it doesn't hamper you.
Yeah.
And the Jags are in an interesting situation right now. Are some of their dollars hampering them? A lot of people would say Blake Bortles. There's always ways to move around the dollars. Like, again, they could sign Yannick Ngakoue if they wanted to tomorrow.
I got a question for you after this next segment here. If you're a GM and you're to spend your top money on 3 positions, what would they be?
All right, let's get to it next on ESPN 690. A little more on the Zeke deal. What did you think? Join the conversation. Come on, you got nothing else to do? Join us at ** 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Windy today as Hurricane Dorian moves by offshore. Heavy rain at times will diminish by late this afternoon into this evening with temperatures in the low to mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish from the CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center.
Hey everybody, this is Austin Lane. I used to wear number 92, and while it's a great number, 94 just might be better.
That's because Vida de Luis recently got a 94 rating. Hey, this is Brent Martineau. Vida de Luis is a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, made in Tequila, Mexico, shipped directly to Jax Beach. Make your own recipes with Vida de Luis tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste.
For locations, recipes, and merchandise, visit VitaDeLuis.com.
Must be at least 21 to drink. Drink responsibly. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Family, food, and football. Renna's Pizza checks the box on all 3. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years. Fresh ingredients every day. And your home for football all fall. Watch the games and dine in at Renna's 5 locations or let Renna's help with your football get-together. A menu to satisfy the entire family's appetite. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Family, food, and football at Renna's Pizza.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal. Can I use it in Florida? Nah, it's illegal here, man. But I have PTSD. Should I at least try to get medical marijuana? That's legal. But if I were you, I'd talk to my doctor about qualifying conditions and to find out if medical marijuana is even right for you. Thanks. I'll talk to my doctor.
That's what sleeping with a CPAP sounds like. If you can't use CPAP, imagine pressing a button and it sounding like this. That's sleeping with Inspire. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body with one click of a remote. That's right, just a button. If you have sleep apnea, great sleep awaits at InspireSleep.com. That's InspireSleep.com. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com. Attention men and women, if you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
He's saying they thought by sending me to Cleveland, even though they made the best deal clearly for themselves in their mind, you thought that you were sending me to Cleveland, you were sending me to purgatory.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and in the TuneIn Radio app.
And he's a good football player. He's a great person, and a great player. And it was good to see what he did there in Philadelphia and the success he had there. I think you not only get a good football player there, but you get a good guy in the locker room and a good leader. I mean, I have a ton of good things to say about him. We probably don't have enough time, but he's a heck of a person.
Well, that's Andy Reid this afternoon on a conference call leading up to the game. Jags and Chiefs, of course, business as usual for Kansas City. A little different for the Jaguars. We do get an injury report today, too, from the Jags, which is basically more of a practice injury report, but they have to put one out. Mm-hmm. And word is Nick Foles will actually be on the injury report with a sore abdomen of something like that. But that was like a last week thing.
Yeah.
But he's going to play. So, I mean, nothing major, but you might see his name on that. That's no different. I mean, shoot, Tom Brady for like 8 years has been on the injury report in New England.
Not a big deal.
I remember Blake Bortles was on the injury report for the most of the time he spent in Jacksonville with a wrist and just played through it. So,
and also a little note, too. So, Jake McKinnon is out for the season.
Yeah, I really didn't want to tell you that because I wanted you to pick him tomorrow in our draft.
Don't worry about that. I was
trying to hide some information here.
Yeah. So it's Tevin Coleman is expected, I think, to be the backup now with Matt Breida.
Atlanta Falcons running back.
That sucks about Jerick McKinnon, though, man.
Yeah, especially since he's one of the higher paid guys in the league. I didn't realize he was top 10 paid in the league.
Well, this is a guy that, and maybe I'm talking on my butt again here, but I'm pretty sure when Cook went down, Latavius Murray and him kind of took over, and he was kind of the outside looking in, and then all of a sudden he comes in for the Vikings and kind of tears it apart, and that's why he got his big contract and everything, and unfortunately hasn't been able to, play up to it.
Well, you got to stay healthy. Obviously, Leonard Fournette knows that all too well. The Jaguars know that. And it is interesting, much like we talk about offenses flying over. I brought this up yesterday, right? There's defenses around the NFL that are highly invested and very good, and you would say are the strength of the team. So don't just automatically blanket the NFL and say, okay, it's all about offense, passing league. We just saw a 13-3 Super Bowl. So there is that. But I also say the same about the running back position. I'm not a running back guy. I'm not a pick him in the top 5 guy. Now, the last few that have been going pretty high have benefited the football team. Again, you're going to bring up Fournette. He benefited the football team his rookie season in a big-time way. And Saquon Barkley looks like he will do that, although he had a great year and didn't do much. Didn't matter in the wins-loss column. In Giants, they became a mess. And now Zeke has been really, really good, and I think a big part of their success, but can he get him to the promised land? Gurley has been a big part of the success of the Rams. So there's still another element to it. My point in that is, while we say the running back position, you can go get anybody in the 4th round, the 3rd round, you can get someone off the street for some of these teams. There's an overvalue on the running back spot because of the length of the career, and I believe some of that. I think the trend has been right. I think the numbers dictate that. I think some of the teams that have won dictate that. But at the same time, you still better be able to run that football and rely on those horses. And so that's the juxtaposition. How much, even the Rams need a running game. The Patriots proved, even with Tom Brady, that power running game was effective in the postseason last year. the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not going to be able to throw it every down. They are going to have to be able to run the football. So it's a fascinating piece. Much like, yes, blanket statement, the offenses in the NFL are king right now. That's the way the game has gone. But defenses still matter. That's what Kansas City tried all offseason to do. They said, hey, we got to get our defense up to par. They can't be the 31st ranked defense in the league. Well, just like you may overvalue and teams overvalue running backs, and I don't know if I'd spend $90 million on a running back. Most teams that do well still have a running game and sometimes have a feature running back. So it's a fascinating dynamic in the NFL right now.
And it's kind of been the storyline for the Kansas City Chiefs where it doesn't really matter who we put at running back. They're going to have, they're going to do pretty good.
Yeah, Andy Reid knows how to coach.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if Andy Reid was in Philly or if he's in Kansas City now. It seems like who's ever back there toting the rock is going to have at least some kind of, pretty good stats.
It was like that in Denver for a long time, right?
Yeah,
and by the way, Gurley went out last year. C.J. Anderson came in and did a pretty nice job for the Rams.
It goes to show you, I think that the pieces of, that bona fide bell cow are important. But if you have the right offensive scheme to run behind, it doesn't really matter who you throw back there.
That's true. Kuz, help me out a little bit because I can't see on this computer and pick up the phone. Sakib is on the line, so let's get to the phone calls now. And you're more than welcome to join the show, star 690. What do you think, man, about this Jags game coming up? We almost have a football game for real in Jacksonville.
I know, man. First of all, I apologize for telling you that the kid was hurt, McKinnon. That was me that mentioned that.
No,
you could have messed them up.
I was kidding about the fantasy football stuff. I was really just
But let me ask you guys a couple questions. This is kind of really fascinating to me. So the whole Dallas Cowboys, they are signing all these guys. How in the world do they have all this much money? And how is this going to impact the Jaguars? Meaning, we haven't signed that many guys. We signed a couple of guys. Can we have enough money to sign our guys? Because it seems like they're just every day they're signing a new guy to an extension. Dallas Cowboys how do they have this much money? And is the Jaguars, will we have enough money to sign our boys back in? Because I'm kind of worried about the whole Ramsey situation and Unique, because I want both of those guys to come back because they are very, very great players, and we need him back. And I just wanted to see, and also one more thing is, will this not practicing today because of the weather and stuff? Will this impact this week's game? Meaning, them not getting enough practice and all that stuff. I'll see if you can tell me that.
Thanks, Akeem. Right. Appreciate it. Then look forward to the game on Sunday. We'll talk a little bit about the practice stuff. We don't really think so. Now, it throws off your routine. It throws a little bit of what you want to do. I shouldn't say we. I don't really think so. I think the Jags will be fine with that. I don't think you're going to look up at the game on Sunday and look up at that scoreboard and say, man, if they had that practice Wednesday, this would be different. I don't. Now, it sounds kind of goofy, and I'm not trying to make light of it. I just don't think so. Now, if you ask a football coach and you say, hey, you took away a practice from me, it's like taking away.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's like taking away a toy from a kid, man. Sure. You don't want to do that. So I think it's a little bit of adversity. It's a little bit of different. It's a little bit of juggling things. But at the same time, it could actually, I don't want to say galvanize, but I think create a higher point of focus. And what you're going to say is, they can't be focused. It's game one. Well, yeah, it can. But they have to do it in a different way now. So they really better be on point with all their stuff. And really what happens on Thursday and Friday will be critical for this football team. So, again, I don't think it makes much of a difference. I just think they have to go about things a little different way.
Yeah, I think Thursday will probably be the exact same practice that they had in mind. And then perhaps on Friday, traditionally, if you're in the NFL, you call it a fast Friday. Usually a Friday practice, regardless of where it is in the season, probably lasts only maybe an hour at the very maximum. Well, now you might have maybe a 2-hour practice on Friday just to get guys ready. The fact that this is week one, it's also kind of like a silver lining, I guess, because I would be more bothered, Brent, if this took place during the middle of the season, right? When guys are conditioned, when guys expect things done a certain way, because we're all creatures of habit. But since this is week one of the regular season, guys don't really know, how the season's going to play out as far as the schedule is concerned. So my point is, if you're going to have a day with the hurricane coming in, we have to call off practice. Wednesday is probably the most ideal day of week one of an NFL regular season.
All right, so I keep asking the question about the pay. And how can the Cowboys do all this? And
because the salary cap doesn't exist. I said it all the time.
Well, it really doesn't for the most part because you can move money around. Yeah. And even the Jaguars, I think, and I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but Miles Jack's deal for this season is not much off their cap.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more backloaded as you go. Well, as you go along, Jags can free up money with depending on A.J. Boye or a Calais Campbell or a Marcel Darius. There's a lot of dead cap space there. There's always way to go. Now, what does that mean? You have to lose players sometimes. Tayshaun Gibson is not with the Jacksonville Jaguars because they had to make a financial decision. They didn't want to afford the $9 million. That wasn't going to move. They had to move on. Malik Jackson, from a production to what you were paying him, wasn't going hand in hand. Mm-hmm. So they obviously were moving on from him, and they planned accordingly. Now, who knows if it will really work? I mean, they picked up Taven Bryan in the draft last year because I think they saw that coming. Same reason they picked up a Ronnie Harrison. They saw the Barry Church, even if he had played well last year, probably wouldn't be with the team this year. They were moving on. So you plan accordingly. What's interesting is the Cowboys have a lot of money tied up in that offensive line, a decent amount of money, and they have now Zeke. Now, they haven't paid Dak Prescott. See, the Dak Prescott salary for this year allows them to be flexible because they're not paying him $30 million right now. Once they start paying him $30 million, they'll have to make some other decisions. But they also don't have a ton of money tied up in their defense. Their defense, they have DeMarcus Lawrence. He's their highest paid guy on the team. Obviously, 5-year, $100 million deal and 65 at guaranteed, according to Spot Track. And then if you look at some of their defensive players, Jalen Smith just got the deal. So there's two guys. And if you go, now you got to go down a little further. Tyrone Crawford, 5 years, $45 million. Van Der Esch is on a 4-year, $11 million deal. Yeah. I mean, so now all your deals start going way down. So I mentioned two, maybe a third defensive player that they've got a lot of money tied in. Totally different than this football team, right? Yeah. They've got Calais Campbell. They now have Miles Jack. They have A.J. Boye. They actually have Marcel Darius, not really the actual dollar figure, but the dead cap money that can come into play next year. And they had to rearrange his deal already this season. Now, we thought they might have Yannick Ngakoue, and they eventually will have Jalen Ramsey. But when they have Jalen Ramsey and Yannick Ngakoue, they could potentially lose A.J. Boye's and Calais Campbell's. So, you just can't have 8 guys making that kind of money on one side of the ball. So the Cowboys can figure this thing out. You're going to lose a little bit of something on one side of the ball or another.
And a guy that's probably going to, not reap the benefits of this is Byron Jones, who was a first-round pick a couple years ago out of Connecticut. The guy broad jumped, I think, 12-something, something ridiculous. I mean,
Can he broad jump you? Can he out broad jump you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to give it to him right now because he set the record. I didn't. Props to him. But this is a guy that, that the Cowboys really like and everything. He's coming up an injury. I believe he'll be ready for week 1. We'll have to check that out. But they probably can't afford to keep him. Eventually something's got to give.
Well, and on top of that, it's the quarterback that really can be the trickle down. Because if they pay $33 million for Dak Prescott, just like the Rams just did, the Rams are an interesting study because they just paid for Goff, and we'll get into that in a bit. But what will that now do for the rest of their roster? They're going to have to make some tough decisions over the next 12 months, most likely. Hey, when we come back, how about a little hurricane coverage? You know where Stuart Weber is?
Where's he at?
He's out at the beach.
Lucky.
He's on hurricane duty. And we'll also give away our Baker Sports Coach of the Week from week 2 of the high school football season coming up next on ESPN 690.
I just don't know that there was a city that would be really excited about Rick Pitino. What has he accomplished in the pros that would suggest that it's worth taking on all of the baggage that he comes with?
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
On WOKV, Sarah Thompson with the latest on Hurricane Dorian. Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish says Hurricane Dorian's eye is now moving past Jacksonville's latitude. St. Johns County says all schools and district offices will be open and resuming normal operations on Friday. Clay County is shifting its garbage and recycling pickup a day. Wednesday routes will be picked up on Thursday. Thursday routes will run Friday, and so on. Tune into News 104.5 WOKV for special live coverage through the day.
What's up, North Florida poker fans? This is Allie McNeil from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The World Poker Tour returns to Jacksonville September 27th with 22 total events and over $1.3 million in guarantees. The $5,000 buy-in Best Bet Bounty Scramble will host 30 of the most acclaimed celebrities from around the world. Knock out any of the celebrity bounties and get $2,500 on the spot. Take part in all the glory and fame at this year's WPT Series. For more information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
There are many paths to take to launch a successful small business. The first step is to start with a good roadmap, such as a business plan. If you need help putting one together, let one of the mentors at SCORE help. Since 1964, SCORE has been assisting aspiring and current entrepreneurs through a nationwide network of 10,000 volunteers with expertise in many different fields. In the Jacksonville area, our mentors can meet with clients at 6 different locations. If you want to schedule a free confidential appointment, go to jacksonville.score.org.
Hey, what in the name of Lester Jackson are you doing?
Oh, hey, boss. Well, since these folks are out of town, I figured I had time to make a Sammy.
You what?
Yep, it's a peanut butter banana sandwich, just like Elvis.
Wait, when are the owners of this place getting back?
Well, the social media account says tomorrow around noon, so relax.
Huh. Well, don't leave a mess. That would be rude.
Boss, how is it possible in this day and age that folks like this don't have safe touch security?
Beats me. Seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, from the two-way communicator to the crash and smash technology to video monitoring.
Hey, if these folks had safe touch, we wouldn't be within a mile of this place.
And that's why we live by the Crooks or Us motto. Stay away from safe touch houses.
Yeah. Hey, pass the bread, will ya?
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest-growing sports station in Jacksonville. It was a lot of fun playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars for 3 years, and I'm having just the same amount of fun on the radio every single day with ESPN 690. So I'm reaching out to you to be part of our team and grow your business with ESPN 690. Give us a holler at 245-8732. That's 245-8732. We look forward to hearing from you and hope you join the team.
Homegrown and ready to help the home team look good on Friday nights and every night in any sport, Baker's Sports has been doing just that since 1997. Your team experts offer the top brands like Under Armour and Adidas. Screen print, embroidery, and trophies all done in-house right here in Jacksonville. Baker's Sports will get you ready for your big game. Looking good so you can play good. Play ball with your team experts at Baker's Sports.
Attention, men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Ryan O'Halloran from the Denver Post, beat writer for the Broncos.
But maybe Cam need that little bit of a kick in the rear end, because over a 48-hour span where Doug is saying probably not for Kansas City, and all of a sudden he's out there with a helmet.
Action Sports Jacks, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jack.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Welcome back here to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos in here. We're going to name our Baker Sports Coach of the Week for week number 2. Our game of the week last week was Yulee at Fernandina Beach. Action Sports Jack Stuart Weber called that game along with Kevin Sullivan, did a nice job. And this week's game very much in limbo. I would say at this point what we know is we're not doing a game Friday night. Mm-hmm. And we're actually making some decisions even on the TV side. Are we going to do the Friday Night Blitz? And I think we're leaning against it at this point in full disclosure and transparency. What I'm wondering is where are they going to move this game to potentially for Creekside Bartram Trail? That's supposed to be our game of the week. And they might move it to Saturday. They might move it to Monday. They might not even play. is kind of the latest. So we are waiting to see if we could potentially still do the game here on ESPN 690 and feature it as our game of the week. So I'll keep you posted on that front. There are some teams playing. Trinity Christian's going to play. Bowles is going to play. I actually think Yulee and West Nassau are still scheduled to play. I think there's a Ponte Vedra game that might still be scheduled to play too, but I can't imagine that one will go off on Friday night. Let's bring in Action Sports Jack Stuart Weber. More on the football stuff, the high school scene. We'll name our coach of the week, but more importantly right now, he's on storm coverage, Hurricane Dorian coverage. Did you make it into the 16 box yet?
No, I'm not going on camera today. I'm hiding.
You're hiding out. I'm
hiding out.
Where are you?
So, if anyone's been to Jack's Beach, you know the pier. You know there's a parking garage right near the pier. I am in the parking garage, dry as a bone, setting up a shot that is showing the pier. Essentially, I'm making sure this camera doesn't get blown over by the wind, and myself with it.
Is the pier still there?
Yes, no changes. Still the same length it was before. It's taken a pounding now. The waves have certainly been going after it quite a bit, but, I mean, that's what they're built for.
Yeah,
that's kind of the idea of the piers.
Angry Atlantic Ocean right now, and this is kind of high time, right? Is that how I understand it right now, high time for Hurricane Dorian right off our coast?
Yes. Let's go with that. Yes.
Come on, man. You're supposed to know this stuff.
I'm not 100% sure. I can't listen to the broadcast because I'm listening to the photographer's line to find out if they need me to do anything or any of that kind of stuff. So I can't really hear the latest on the broadcast.
Okay. Well, hopefully they give you a heads up if you need to move locations.
No, I'm staying here. I am locked in. I am rocking and rolling, and it's been the shot's been on Facebook for like 2 straight hours. People comment on it. People who are actually interested in the storm, people who are just idiots. You know, just a bit the normal Facebook mix.
Nice combination.
The normal Facebook mix get on there. And so I was trying to be helpful, answer some questions for some people, and then other people come in and they're just silly. But, it's anything I can do to help. I know our Skycam that normally has a stationary shot of the pier was not working properly.
Okay.
So that's me. I am a stationary
Skycam Stewart. I like it.
Skycam Stewart. Very nice.
Like that's me for the day. But to answer one of your questions about earlier, Ponte Vedra's game was canceled as far as some of the ones that we were looking at. And the cool thing is that a couple of the teams, including Trinity, who you mentioned, in Bowles, both kind of, I wouldn't say scrambled to get new opponents after they had to change things up. Bowles, of course, was supposed to be off this week. They had their game last Friday canceled with Miami Lakes because that school down in Hialeah was, trying to figure out if that storm was going to come right for South Florida last week around that time. So they canceled that game last Friday, and both of them didn't have a game this Friday. So they're like, hey, let's do it this week. And so that's why that game's happening at Bowles. Kind of the same idea with Trinity Christian, who somehow, some way, makes their schedule even harder. Yeah. As we've talked about it quite a bit, them having the hardest high school schedule we have ever seen. And this is zero disrespect to Ribault, but Ribault was the easiest game on their schedule as far as record-wise and past accomplishment-wise go. So they swap out what would have been the easiest game from a numbers standpoint on their schedule for a team in Venice who's made it to the state semifinals 3 straight years, won a state title in 2017, 12-2 a year ago, and let's just add it to the schedule, Verlin. Why not?
Crazy. And by the way, Trinity took a big hit this week in that game last week. They got a good win over Godby, 45-42. I think it might have been a game-winning field goal. I was out of town, but I think it was a game-winning field goal.
It was an overtime, yeah.
But they suffered a big blow. The Killian kid hurt. There was one with an ACL. Was he the one with the ACL?
I'm not 100% sure. I know they lost 2 running backs, and by the end of the game, Fred Davis, I believe it was, or Miles Brooks, one of those 2 big defensive backs, had to go in there and play some running back.
Yeah, it was Killian's possible ACL. I don't know what the latest was. And I think Webb, the young running back, talented kid who played as a varsity as an 8th grader, I think he might have even had a broken arm, was the word we had gotten over the weekend. So we'll see what they are health-wise. They've got this crazy schedule. The one thing about it, Stuart, from a Trinity Christian standpoint, is they better be able – they've got to stay somewhat healthy. You know, they don't have enormous numbers at Trinity Christian, especially in the trenches. So with this schedule, there is concern that you don't make it through the year. Once they get to the postseason, you really like their chances in 3A, but they got to get to the postseason somewhat healthy.
Yeah, and being 3A, it kind of tells you how many kids they have at that school and the numbers they have. So certainly, yes, they need to make it through the schedule first before they can get to that postseason. And the way this formula works, they are going to be in really good shape based on opponent's strength of schedule and opponent's strength of schedule, because all that goes into the math. So if they can get through that, then yes, they are looking pretty good here for the postseason in 3A. But Venice this week on Friday night at 7:30 over at Trinity Christian, which, by the way, is the same time, around that time, by the way, we'll be showing our NFL preview special, including a great story with Fred Davis and Miles Brooks getting to chop it up with A.J. Boye and Jalen Ramsey. A really cool piece I got to put together yesterday, so looking forward to everybody seeing that.
Hey, if you're listening to the show and you like Jalen Ramsey, and who doesn't like seeing what Jalen Ramsey has to say, and I think if you like A.J. Boye, this is a story that we had asked them to do, Jalen and A.J. Boye, and to be quite honest with you, I'm not going to lie. I was like, probably won't happen, but let's ask. And, well, they were cool about it. And we did the story yesterday. We put it together in the last couple of days, and Stuart did most of it. But it's really cool. It's one of those deals where you really didn't know how it was going to come out, but it's really cool to watch the interaction between a 5-star kid and a 4-star kid from Trinity and the best tandem in the NFL at their positions, and especially a guy like Ramsey, and everybody knows his game and the trash talking and everything else. Really fascinating to watch the interaction between these. They were great with these guys, and it's going to be fun to follow Fred Davis and Miles Brooks just to see where they go, and maybe even if they take something with from this experience with them to Georgia Tech and Clemson, and hopefully even beyond. Maybe they make the NFL someday. But we moved that show off tonight. It was supposed to be tonight. The show is going to be Friday at 8 o'clock on CBS 47. So just a reminder, put the DVR on, do whatever you got to do. But we have a sit-down with Leonard Fournette. We have this story with AJ and Jalen. We've got a lot more in the show. But hope you can check it out because it was kind of a unique piece. It was different. And that made a lot of fun. We appreciate those guys doing that.
Yeah, and that's the thing about, a little behind the scenes in the business for a story like that. Our job on that kind of story is to stay out of the way. We want these guys, those 4 football players, to have this interaction and to have these genuine responses and questions of each other and be able to have this conversation at the same time as us staying out of the way. We also have to capture it so that everybody at home can kind of see the great, interactions between these people. So it's kind of a fun little dichotomy there where we have to both stay out of the way, but also facilitate and let this happen and make this work to where we can present it for everybody at home.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it, really will, and I think it's cool. It's a neat look at A.J. Boye and Jalen Ramsey too, in my opinion, that you probably haven't seen before. So check it out, 8 o'clock, CBS 47 on Friday night. Let's make an executive decision here. I'll go tell the bosses. You tell me. You make the call. You're out in the hurricane coverage, so you get a chance to make the call. Do we have a Friday Night Blitz Friday, or do we move it to a third week into the postseason, which we normally don't do? Make the call, Weber. It's all on you right now.
No, you're just going to throw it out there like that. I think with the lack of games and with, of course, our NFL preview show that'll be at 8 o'clock live on Friday night. I just said live, so we're doing it. Let's postpone the Friday Night Blitz that night. And, of course, we can add that extra week in the playoffs because, you know what? We're going to put it on our local teams and say, hey, you guys need to get to the third round of the playoffs so we have enough content for a full half-hour show and for an extra week of the ESPN 690 game of the week as well. So we're making the call. The half-hour Friday Night Blitz at 10:30 will take a different form, whether that be more news coverage or, heck, maybe we're able to, portray more of that NFL preview show for you guys at home in that show that evening. We will make that determination here down the road. But all that said, we will plan to have a camera at that Trinity Christian game against Venice. So we will try and still hit a couple of the games that are going on that evening, whatever we're able to do with time and resources-wise. But the full 30-minute show just doesn't make a whole lot of sense when there's 5 or 6 games going on in the entire area.
Yeah, maybe not even that many. So, okay, you made the call. Yeah. I'll email the bosses, and if they say otherwise, then I'll tell you otherwise. Maybe they'll tell me what to do instead. I don't know. But I think we'll have a little bit of say in this one. I think it's the right call. We might only have about 3 games, so we'll do extended highlights of whatever games we can get to on Friday night anyway at 10:30 and 11 o'clock. All right, one last thing. Baker Sports Coach of the Week. Let's hand it out, Weber. We've got a lot to pick from in these first couple of weeks. A lot of 2-0 teams, a lot of fantastic games. Wolfson's head coach was week number 1. What do we have in week number 2?
Yeah, we wanted Dennis Bettinger in that first week. Of course, Wolfson getting that opening week win and a lot of positive momentum for that program. Speaking of positive momentum for a program, how about the Creekside Knights? They were down early in their inter-county matchup against the Nice Panthers, and Creekside able to rally multiple times throughout the course of the game and win a barn burner 58-51 to improve to 2-0. So we're going to give it to head coach Sean McIntyre and the Creekside Knights getting that job done 2-0. Would have been a fantastic matchup between them being 2-0, Barsham Trail being 2-0, St. Johns County powers collide, but that's not going to happen because of the rain. So instead, rain today. So instead, we will definitely honor Coach McIntyre and the Creekside Knights with our Coach of the Week.
All right, and just to let you know, there's a meeting taking place in about 10 minutes in St. Johns County about high school football this week. And that's when we'll know a little bit more, probably in an hour or so, a little bit more when these games could be played. I still think Creekside Bartram might be played on Saturday. Could be a Monday game, but I think they're going to try to get it in. It will just depend on what they decide at this meeting, I believe, and what they're allowed to do. And if it fits, we may still carry that game on ESPN 690 on Saturday. We're working on that, so we'll keep everybody updated. But Sean McIntyre, what a great game that was, 58-51. Creekside got it done last week in a rivalry game over Nice. Unbelievable. A little reminder from a high-scoring affair of either a Big 12 game or that Clay Bishop-Kenny game back years ago that you were at, Stuart. All right, man, stay dry, stay safe, and keep up the good work. Your camera is on live television most of the rest of the afternoon.
It is. It's in the little 4-box showing off the pier. And don't worry, I've got a large supply of Swedish fish, and I stole a can of Pringles out of your desk. So I'm good to go.
Hey, this just in. You took the Pringles out of my desk?
Hey, I didn't know I was going to get food at the time, and so I just snagged those things and got rocking and rolling.
It's unbelievable. That'll be a $5 fine. Have a good one, Weber.
All right, I will.
See ya. And by the way, watch CBS 47 Fox 30, and when you see the video of the pier, please text in or tweet in or call in *690 and grade whatever Weber's camera shot looks like. Especially now that he took my Pringles.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if you have some not flattering comments, feel free to post them on there too. Well, if you stole your Pringle, I'm not sure how much you care about Pringles.
Well, I care a lot.
Okay, well, there you go then. So post some unflattering things.
I was watching the comments he was dealing with on the drive back.
I'll tell you what.
Well, let's be honest.
Facebook comments can get a little sketchy now.
Well, they were confused.
Twitter's its own little beast.
Yeah.
Facebook's a different beast.
Well, because he went live with the camera, but it was just like the camera shot. So everyone's like, where's the audio? There's no audio.
They wanted him to talk?
Yeah, they wanted audio. And he's like, well, then watch the TV station.
Hey, I got an injury report for you, okay? Jags had to put out an injury report, even though they did not practice. And so here's what it reads. Nick Foles, oblique, practicing full on Wednesday, even though they really didn't practice. Marquise Lee, knee, full practice. Quincy Williams, knee, full practice. Cam Robinson, knee, full. Lorente McRae, ankle, limited. DJ Alexander, hamstring, limited. Marcel Darius, elbow, limited. That's an interesting one. Abwehi and Josh Oliver not practicing, which means it looks like Oliver won't be back, right? Yeah. And Abwehi got hurt in that last preseason game. The interesting guy to me here is Darius. Darius didn't practice a lot the last week and a half, and it was an elbow thing. Really don't know the severity of that and if he's going to be able to go. But it'll be one to watch because he makes up a formidable part of that defensive front.
So I think he's going to go because it wouldn't make sense to play Taven Bryan as much as they did if they thought Darius is going to be out for an extended period of time because Taven Bryan's his backup. My question is with Marquise Lee, are you going to see him week one?
I don't know. He wants to be there. That's a good call. That's a really good call. And I want to talk more about Quincy Williams. Let's talk more about it because I want to know Quincy Williams is full go. He's ready. Yeah. Does he play and what kind of impact can he make against this Kansas City Chiefs team? Let's get into it next on ESPN 690. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos. Jump on in the conversation. Star 690. What do you expect to see on Sunday? Tax problems can be extremely stressful and cause financial devastation. The tax attorneys at J. David Tax Law are right here in Jacksonville to be your personal advocate and resolve your IRS or state sales tax issues. J. David Tax Law focuses on your needs and case outcomes. Don't be fooled by these big out-of-town tax companies that only focus on getting you to sign up and pay without even working with an attorney. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you.
Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law. Never trust your tax situation to anyone you can't walk in and look in the eye. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777, 904-507-4777, or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal. Can I use it in Florida? Nah, it's illegal here. 20 grams or less is a misdemeanor, and more than 20 grams is a felony. Well, I have epilepsy. Should I try to get a medical marijuana prescription? Now that's legal, but talk to your doctor first to see if it's a qualifying condition and if medical marijuana is even right for you. I will, thanks.
As Dorian takes aim at Florida, Action News Jax and the First Alert Weather Team are keeping a watchful eye on the tropics. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish tracking Dorian's every move.
This is the time to prepare. Download the First Alert Weather app and get real-time radar, hourly forecast updates, and the latest track on Dorian. And on TV, we'll be working round the clock to bring you live updates and live coverage as the storm approaches. At Action News Jax, we're here for severe to keep you and your family safe.
Savings on top of huge selection on top of rave customer reviews. That's how they do the National Clearance Event at Arlington Toyota. During the National Clearance Event, you can take your pick from over 1,000 new and pre-owned on Arlington's lot. I mean, come on, 1,000 vehicles. You know you're going to find what you want and save during the National Clearance Event at Arlington. Right now, during the National Clearance Event at Arlington, buy a 2019 Corolla LE from just $14,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE from just $14,888. Or buy a 2019 Tacoma SR5 from just $24,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 Tacoma SR5 from just $24,888. Plus, you get the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club with your purchase. Just one of the tons of reasons why Arlington's earned 4.7 out of 5 stars and over 7,000 Google reviews. Arlington knows how to do the national clearance sale right, but you've got to get it while the getting is good. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online 24/7 at arlingtontoyota.com.
I'm Glenn Levine with the law offices of Anajar and Levine. If you've suffered damage as a result of the hurricane, you need to make sure that you notify your insurance company as soon as possible. After you've made sure that your family is safe, you have an obligation to mitigate any damages. That means you need to take steps necessary to prevent additional damage from taking place. If you've suffered a loss, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Family, food, and football. Renna's Pizza checks the box on all three. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years. Fresh ingredients every day. And your home for football all fall. Watch the games and dine in at Renna's 5 locations. Or let Renna's help with your football get-together. A menu to satisfy the entire family's appetite. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Family, food, and football at Renna's Pizza.
Lowe's makes it easy for pros like you to get more of the supplies you need and at the right prices every day. Like 20% off in-stock GAF or Owens Corning shingles when you purchase by the pallet. Get 10% off select plywood when you buy 48 sheets or more. And whatever size the job, you can be sure to find the quantities you need in stock. Order at lowesforpros.com and have your order delivered or pick up in store. Our dedicated pro loaders will load you up and get you back to the job site when you're needed most. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Selection varies by location, U.S. only.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. After signing his 6-year, $90 million extension, star running back Ezekiel Elliott joined the Cowboys and is taking part in his first on-field work with the team since mid-June at minicamp. A message from Coach Jason Garrett to Elliott was just get back to work. With Elliott back in the fold, this is the best Cowboys team since their glory days of the 1990s and should be in the Super Bowl this season, believes ESPN's Damian Woody.
They eat up time of possession. They keep their defense fresh. Do we want to play 8 in the box? Well, guess what? We got 3 wide receivers that can beat you. Defensively, they're going to be fresh. They got a new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, who's going to utilize an aspect of the Dallas Cowboys offense that was underutilized, and that's Dak Prescott's legs.
Cowboys face the Giants in Sunday's season opener. Receiver Antonio Brown on Instagram aired his frustrations over a letter detailing $54,000 in fines from the Raiders for unexcused absences at training camp. Part of Brown's response, everyone got to pay this year. The Raiders' letter also warned of future fines if Brown misses more mandatory team activities.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hurricane Dorian off the coast of Jacksonville right now, and as the gusts of wind do happen and the rain squalls do happen, we do have updated information on how you can get back to your home if you're in an evacuation zone, and an update on some curfews being lifted as well. I guess the biggest one, Mayor Lenny Curry, mandatory evacuations will be lifted at 7 p.m. Bridges are open heading to the beaches. And the way that reads, bridges are open now, heading to the beaches, not at 7 o'clock. So that's what Mayor Lenny Curry just tweeted out 10 minutes ago. You have some other information, too, I think, for St. Johns County right there, Kuz. So if you have that, I don't have that as handy.
Yeah, it says effective 3 p.m. on Wednesday, September 4th, which is today. So an hour ago, curfew and mandatory evacuation orders have been canceled.
All right. Meanwhile, about a half hour ago, the Bridge of Lions will be closed temporarily due to flooding until further notice, according to the St. Augustine Police Department. This in St. Johns County schools will have school on Friday. Clay will have school on Friday. We expect everybody to have school on Friday, but I don't know if Duval County has given word on that just yet. So we'll keep you updated. Bottom line is evacuations are being lifted 7 o'clock tonight for Duval County. It's happening in St. Johns County. Bridges are reopening if they were closed. So looks like you'll be able to get back to normalcy of sorts by this evening at the very latest. And that's kind of what was predicted. If you've been listening to Mike Borish and our First Alert weather team for the last, a week and a half, but really the last couple of days, they've been basically saying by Wednesday night, this thing will be out of here. And now the impact will go into southeast Georgia, up in South Carolina, North Carolina. Could actually make landfall in South Carolina, North Carolina area. We'll see what it does from there. Overall, a big sigh of relief here in Northeast Florida with Hurricane Dorian. Just a reminder, we ain't out of the woods yet, because this is just like the start of the peak of hurricane season. So the next month, probably 5 weeks, will be an indicator of what else happens. And so far, there's a lot of activity in the tropics. So anyway, keep abreast of all that. But good news here, at least on a Wednesday. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Kuz here, talking some sports. I do want to update you on the weather side of things when we can, and if you want more of it, you go to CBS 47, Fox 30, wall-to-wall coverage, also on 104.5 WOKV FM, 104.5. You can get all the new information on your radio and on your TV from our news departments, and also, of course, our First Alert weather team. Let's talk a little sports. You asked a question before we get into the high school. And once again, congratulations to Sean McIntyre, Creekside High School, our coach of the week for week number 2. And thanks to Baker Sports for helping us out with that award on a weekly basis. But before we get into that, you said, what 3 positions would you pay
in order to, like, from top, like, from the most important to the least important, top 3.
And you're a franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying if Brent Martineau, if you're the GM right now and you have money to spend, what spots are you spending money on?
Yeah, and obviously there's not a ton of answers to this, but there are premium positions that have always taken the cake, if you will, and that is quarterback, that is left tackle, that is pass rusher, that is, I think even corner does enter that at times. I mean, those are the positions that you would spend high draft capital on. And so therefore, those are positions you would probably invest a lot of money in as well. And so I don't think that's necessarily wrong in that regard. I think I have to put quarterback on the list, although I would love to find the quarterback actually like the Jags are doing that are $22 million rather than $34 million. I would rather pay, really, this is genuine. I would rather pay Nick Foles $22 million than pay Dak Prescott $32 million.
Yeah.
I really do. I think the Jags are in a better situation than what the Cowboys are going to be in. That even the Rams, I'm not sold on Goff, man. Now, in that system, with everything around it, everything has worked. But when it all breaks down and when they have to start losing guys, is Goff going to be the guy that becomes Russell Wilson? I'm not sold on it. Wentz, I'll probably buy into. Goff, I'm not buying into. So when I've got to spend $33 million on those kind of quarterbacks, no, I don't know. Like Kirk Cousins, I didn't want to spend that money on Kirk Cousins.
Well, let me ask you this one. Patrick Mahomes, in a couple of years, is probably going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Would you pay that money to have Patrick Mahomes on your team?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would pay Aaron Rodgers, and I would pay Tom Brady, and I'd probably pay Drew Brees, and I'd pay Russell Wilson. So there's a category of guys that I'd pay.
Sure.
But when you tell me about Goff, and you tell me about Cousins, and you tell me about Prescott, and guys, and I'm not saying they're bad, but because of the times, they're now worth $32 million because that's what the market is, I would rather have a guy like Foles, and I'll take my chances at $22 million, and I'd get him a receiver for the other $10 million.
Yeah.
Or a left tackle for the other, whatever it might be.
But let's be honest, Brent, if you're going to pay top dollar, if you're going to pay like the top 1% of the 1% to an NFL quarterback, more than likely it's a guy that you drafted, right?
True.
Because you're going to build him up through your system.
Yeah.
You hardly ever see a scenario where you draft the guy and then you let him go and he becomes, one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, it happens sometimes because sometimes, teams draft more than one quarterback. You kind of saw that with Washington with the RG3 and Kirk Cousins. But for the most part, if you have that high-paid quarterback, you usually drafted him as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
But there's just a cutoff. Like, I don't mind paying the elite dollars for the elite QB. The problem with this day and age, right now, the cycle we're in, is you have to take a gamble on a guy that really might not be elite. Derek Carr, they had to pay him. Well, is Derek Carr elite? Was he worth the investment that they put into him? I don't know. Like, the Jags got stuck on Bortles. I mean, listen, to go back to Bortles' situation, did they have to pay him? Now, in hindsight, no, they didn't have to. They still made, overall, they needed one more good year out of him to make that investment worthwhile. And they kind of were, the guy had taken you to the AFC Championship game. They almost kind of had to pay him.
Yeah.
I mean, again, people will argue that one because you had the player option. You could have done it that way. Hindsight's perfect. I get it. But you almost have to invest in your guy, and that's what happens sometimes. I think this might be a mistake to invest in Goff for that amount of money. Will it hamper them for a long time to come? I don't know. Will they get stuck in it? I don't know.
I think it's more of just you're not really yes, you are investing in Goff, obviously, but you're also investing in the system. And right now, the system has shown that it can pay dividends.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so quarterback
number one, yeah, and that was my top one as well.
And the curiosity is, with quarterback, if you pay $35 million, other things start to suffer.
True.
And that's what these teams will run into. I think that's what Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks ran into. They couldn't afford offensive linemen.
Yeah.
The Packers have run into it. What do we brag about on Tom Brady? The fact that he is like the 8th best highest paid quarterback, or 15th highest paid quarterback, because it allows them to do other things. So that can get you in a tough spot. Okay, pass rusher is another one. If you have an elite pass rusher, if you have Von Miller, if you have DeMarcus Lawrence, if you have Yannick Ngakoue. But I think right now, Yannick Ngakoue is not the best pass rusher on his football team. I think it fits Calais Campbell. They're paying Calais Campbell a lot of money. And Calais Campbell would you agree, has been more productive even than as much as Yannick's been productive?
So,
isn't Calais Campbell been more productive? Hasn't he been?
Yeah, from a defensive lineman standpoint, absolutely, because you have to take into account the position that he's playing, that 3 tech, or he's playing that big 5, but he plays 3 a little bit too. So his ability in the run game as well kind of goes overshadowed sometime, but he's just as great in the run game as he is in the pass rush game. Not to say Ngakoue struggles in the run games. I don't think he does, but he doesn't get a lot of glory playing that edge spot.
Noticed.
Exactly.
Yeah, listen, Calais Campbell, I think from the Pro Football Focus people, was the best defensive lineman in the NFL last year against the run. I think those were the numbers. I think he was number 1 against the run in the NFL.
Even better than Aaron Donald.
I think so.
Okay, interesting.
Now, maybe I'm off by here.
Yeah, okay.
But you get the point.
No, I mean, he's elite.
I mean, 2017, he made first-team All-Pro at defensive end, and I think second-team All-Pro at defensive tackle.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, the guy's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the point being, you have to invest in a dominant defensive lineman. Fair enough.
Yeah,
most of the times it's a pass rush.
And it's crazy because Brent, if you
Aaron Donald's one.
Well, yeah, if you would ask that question maybe even 5 years ago, you'd say, "Oh, defensive end, pass rusher all day." But now the way the game's going, all of a sudden with the emergence of, I think J.J. Watt kind of led this initiative too a little bit. But you have the J.J. Watts, you have the Calais Campbells, you have the Donalds now that, you know, they can get after the quarterback at that 3 technique. So it's kind of changing the game a little bit. So I agree with you. Yep, 2 is a pass rusher.
Okay, so now here's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It comes down to, do you next on your team invest into the corner position? Do you invest into the left tackle position to protect that investment at quarterback? Understandable. Or do you go get him a pass catcher that's an elite guy? Because elite's not easy to find. DeAndre Hopkins not easy to find.
No.
OBJ is
Julio
not easy
Jones,
to find.
about to make some money.
Jones, AJ Green over the years. Those guys are not easy to find. Antonio Brown. But history also shows those guys don't get you to Super Bowls.
Correct.
Right? The trend is that. So I would say, all right, let's push the receiver aside. I can wait on that. Won't be my top 3. And here's the other thing I say. I think left tackle is hit and miss too much to pay that much money.
Okay.
See, I think I can find you corners that have been paid that have lived up to the dollars more so than left tackles that have been paid and lived up to the dollars. And now I haven't done the research on it, but you asked me the question, and I think I can probably find you those guys. That the corner, and it probably will cost you a little bit less anyway.
Yep.
Overall, now Rams is going to cost you a bundle. He's going to reset the market. But I think maybe it's just because I'm biased here in Jacksonville, but if Cam Robinson turns into an All-Pro the next 2 years, if you take me one guy to have, I'll take Jalen Ramsey instead of Cam Robinson.
We are on the same page right now, man. We're like clockwork. So I agree with what you said there, but I agree with it for different reasons as well. And call me a little biased playing on the defensive side of the ball my entire life. But I feel like if you have that bona fide left tackle, you pay him all that money, Brent, a team can game plan around that. Because now you're seeing where the pass rushers will go to the side of the weak, the side of the weakest tackle or the weakest guard. It's not like the old days where you had a left defensive end and a right defensive end. No, now teams are game planning where the weakest spot of the offensive line is, and then they game plan from there. So, yeah, you could have this bookend left tackle, but doesn't mean he's going to get his money's worth because he's not going to face probably the best pass rusher, as opposed to like a Jalen Ramsey, a shutdown corner where you just tell him, hey, go play the one, go have fun. So from that perspective, I'm taking the corner number 3 as well.
Well, and here's the fascinating part of all this that we just did and agreed on to a bit.
Miles Jack got paid.
No, but what did we talk about? We talked offense.
Oh, true.
We just said 2 of the prime positions to pay should be on defense.
Well, yeah.
It brings us back to that conversation.
Well, and it's kind of my point of the top 3 positions to pay. 2 of them should be getting new contracts with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, we'll see if it pans out or not with Yannick Ngakoue and Jalen Ramsey, but it's interesting.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Yeah. Good call there, too. By the way, jump in on the conversation, star 690. Hit us up on the digital channels. You can do that. What Andy Reid had to say this afternoon about Chris Conley, the new Jags receiver, and Ballin' and Fallin' next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jags with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Windy today as Hurricane Dorian moves by offshore. Heavy rain at times will diminish by late this afternoon into this evening with temperatures in the low to mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish from the CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center.
I think Melo can still average 15 to 18 a game in the right system, but there's only one system, and that's wherever LeBron James is. I think that's Melo's last
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Hey, everybody, this is Austin Lane. I used to wear number 92, and while it's a great number, 94 just might be better.
That's because Vida de Luis recently got a 94 rating. Hey, this is Brent Martineau. Vida de Luis is a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, made in Tequila, Mexico, shipped directly to Jax Beach. Make your own recipes with Vida de Luis tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste.
For locations, recipes, and merchandise, visit VitaDeLuis.com.
You must be at least 21 to drink. Drink responsibly.
A computer can change the life of a child. As you replace your company's computers, consider donating your end-of-life machines to the STEM2Hub. Help us close the digital divide. For more information, visit STEM2Hub.org. That's STEM, the number 2, HUB.org. Our partners at BSN Sports, the largest provider of team sports equipment and apparel in the country, would like to thank all of the coaches out there who truly are the heart of the game. While BSN Sports is the best at equipping athletes with a one-stop shop for everything needed to run an athletic program, coaches are the best at equipping lives. And that's the real final score. Learn more about how BSN Sports can save you time off the field so you can impact more lives on it by calling your local BSN Sports sales professional or by visiting bsnsports.com today.
Savings on top of huge selection on top of rave customer reviews. That's how they do the National Clearance Event at Arlington Toyota. During the National Clearance Event, you can take your pick from over 1,000 new and pre-owned on Arlington's lot. I mean, come on! 1,000 vehicles. You know you're going to find what you want and save during the National Clearance Event at Arlington. Right now, during the National Clearance Event at Arlington, buy a 2019 Camry LE from just $18,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 Camry LE from just $18,888. Or buy a 2019 RAV4 XLE from just $24,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 RAV4 XLE from just $24,888. Plus, you get the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club with your purchase. Just one of the tons of reasons why Arlington's earned 4.7 out of 5 stars and over 7,000 Google reviews. Arlington knows how to do the national clearance sale right, but you've got to get it while the getting is good. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online 24/7 at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick & Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. Clearly, it's because I'm on every morning from 6 till 10 a.m. But this isn't about me. It's about your business. Get your business noticed today. First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get on our team than right now. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Family, food, and football. Renna's Pizza checks the box on all three. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years. Fresh ingredients every day. And your home for football all fall. Watch the games and dine in at Renna's 5 locations. Or let Renna's help with your football get-together. A menu to satisfy the entire family's appetite. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Family, food, and football at Renna's Pizza.
I think it's time to let go.
23rd ranked Stanford at USC. Saturday at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. Presented by Dr. Pepper.
Hey, this is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, and you're watching Action Sports Jocks. Bomb Squad!
This is one of my favorite guys. You talk about a phenomenal person. That's Chris Conley. Extremely intelligent and loves to play. He I'm sure, is a welcomed addition to that offense. Nick knows him, so they played together, and so I'm sure that helped too. But Chris is top notch, and as a person and a football player.
That's Andy Reid, Chiefs coach, on Chris Conley, the new Jags wide receiver, and he knows Foles and he knows Conley well. He coached him up in Kansas City. Very nice comments about Chris Conley. By the way, little programming note, Chris Conley will join us on a lot of Monday nights, and our debut show coming up this Monday night. So Monday night, come watch some football with us, the doubleheader on the NFL. Come hang out with us at Top Golf and Jaguars Report Live. It's a new show. We're debuting it Monday night, 7 o'clock on CBS 47. And you can come on and hang out with us at Top Golf every Monday night. Chris Conley will join us in the first one. He'll join us actually a lot of the times in the fall, but some other players may jump in as well. So Come on out, baby. Let's have some fun at Top Golf every Monday during the season. It starts this coming Monday, and you can hang out with us and watch some football as well because there's an NFL doubleheader that night. But come say hello. Hopefully Chris Conley has a big game against his former team on Sunday, and then we can talk all about it on Monday. That will be 7 o'clock on CBS 47 at Top Golf, so love to have you out there. Our Jaguars All Access went to Thursday nights this year on Fox 30. Calais Campbell, once again, a part of that at Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. And so we had an open spot on Mondays, and we decided to put this show out at Top Golf, which is really cool. I'm fired up about it. And hopefully you'll make it a big event like you did at Mellow Mushroom in Avondale on Thursdays. We invite you out there, too, including tomorrow night. We will have a show. As of now, the show is on, and I don't see any changes in that. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. And if you can't make it out, you can watch it on TV, 7 o'clock on Fox 30, Jaguars All Access tomorrow. So we got programming all over the place when it comes to the Jags on TV side. And, of course, we're talking Jags on a daily basis here on the radio side on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. Real quick thought on Chris Conley. I mean, this guy is a cool guy. Yeah. I mean, he is interesting, and he has a chance to have a breakout year in the NFL. I feel that way. Do you sense that could happen?
I sense he could actually have a breakout game against Kansas City because if you look at their defense and how they're set up right now, they got Fuller, who I think is probably their better corner at the spot right now, Kendall Fuller. He's probably going to be shadowing D.D. Westbrook. Now, we talked about Marquise Lee a little bit, Brent. And what do you I mean, are we going to see him Sunday? Are we going to see Marquise Lee suit up for the Jacksonville Jaguars and play Sunday?
I think there's the way he's listed on that, I would say yes if you ask me right now, but just not being able to get a feel for it down there this week, I don't know. I wasn't planning on it, and even if he dresses, I think he'd almost be considered like the fifth guy or the sixth guy, however many they want to dress. So I don't think he's going to be a factor. Let's just say that. I think he could be an option in some sets they run, but I don't see him being a big player in this opening week. There's no way. They have got to ease this guy back in. They really do, in my opinion. And I'd be surprised if he played a lot on Sunday in the opener.
Okay, so then, I mean, granted, I'm not sure what the plan is for the Chiefs right now. Are they going to put Breland on Conley? Are they going to put Ward on Conley? I'm not sure how it's going to shape up yet. But I think that their secondary is a little vulnerable, especially, I mean, they have the Honey Badger. It's his first year playing Kansas City. They had Daniel Sorensen, who I'm not sure is going to be the starter. I think Juwan Thornhill is going to be taking over from this game against Jacksonville. So I think, listen, what I've seen from Conley, Brent, is the fact that the guy likes to run the go route. And I have seen Foles air the ball a little bit. Now, I think Foles sometimes he's a little underrated in terms of throwing the long ball because we didn't see the preseason, obviously. We saw him attempt it a couple of times.
Did it quite a bit in practice.
But we saw it a lot in practice. And I think if you're going to unleash Chris Conley on somebody, I think the Chiefs, obviously with the storylines and everything, are the team to do it against. So I think he's going to have a good game against the Chiefs.
You bring up, we know two things. Kansas City's offense is really good and fast. Jags defense is really good, and they're fast too.
Sure.
We have no idea what Kansas City's defense is going to be. Yeah, they added star power. They got Frank Clark. They got Tyrann Mathieu. Mm-hmm. They got better, it looks like. They changed their scheme.
Yeah.
But I could also make the same claim for the Jaguars offense, and I have no idea what that's going to look like. On paper, they got Nick Foles, upgraded quarterback. Leonard Fournette has looked good. They're healthy on the offensive line. They've got Chris Conley, who nice little veteran mix to a guy like Dede, who looks like he might have a breakout. But I can't sit here and sell you on much. I have no idea what it's going to look like, and I bet the folks in Kansas City are saying the same thing about their defense. What a fascinating matchup on Sunday. It's why I call it the most fascinating matchup in the NFL this week, because you have strength versus strength. And throw your hands up on the other side of the ball when you do that matchup with the Jags offense against the Chiefs defense.
So I don't want to sound like a 90s coach here, and but I'm going to be honest. I think this game is won and lost in the trenches, Brent. I think. Oh yeah, here we go again, right?
Here we go. Run the ball, stop
run the ball, stop the run. Well, it's that simple, Brent. It really is. But I think if you look
what did they feed you?
What do you mean?
For those years in the NFL, what did they give you? What did
nails and Castrol.
Was there brainwashing that went on? Run the ball and stop the run.
It was like a Clockwork Orange. And I'm just sitting there with my eyeballs like wide open, just showing me highlights of people running the ball and stopping the run.
Was there hypnotism? Did I just trigger something that set you back in a trance?
Listen, I'm being serious here because you have to ask the question. Now, look at Kansas City's offensive line. I think Mitchell Schwartz is a pretty solid right tackle. I think Eric Fisher, the former first-round pick, he went number 1. Jokel went number 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think Eric Fisher's serviceable at the left tackle spot. But you have to ask the question, Brent, is Kansas City offensive line, are they legit, or does Patrick Mahomes make them that way? And when I look at the Jaguars' defensive line, I feel like if you're going to cause problems for Kansas City, it has to be in the pass rush. It has to be getting that pressure up the middle. I think the Jaguars have the ability to do that. Now, obviously, stopping the run is going to be important too. But like I said, the game's going to be won and lost in the trenches. If they can get pressure on Patrick Mahomes and make him uncomfortable, they have a shot. And if they can stop listen, I get the Kansas City defensive line right now. They got Frank Clark. They got Chris Jones. Those are 2 guys that warrant attention, right? Like Frank Clark coming from Seattle. They basically replaced D Ford with Frank Clark. I'd probably call it a horse apiece. I think they're both pretty solid pass rushers, pretty serviceable in the run game. So Frank Clark is just basically replacing D Ford. So you're not really gaining anything, losing anything there. And then Chris Jones, yes, he's playing in a new defense now, that 4-3 spot. So he's playing what I assume would be a 3 technique. But this is a guy last year, Brent, who had, I think, 15-something sacks from the 3 technique in a 3-4 defense. Not easy to do. I mean, those are better than Calais Campbell's numbers, if I'm not mistaken. So you have to account for him as well. So from that perspective, you have to, and we have the Jaguars offensive line right now who we've seen them all together, the last preseason game, but we don't know how they're going to gel that first game of the season. So they have to stop that pass rush of the Kansas City Chiefs as well.
Yeah, I get it. And it makes sense. I mean,
so the game is won and lost in the trenches.
It could be, but you also will get the ball to your playmakers, and Kansas City will want to do that. And we talk a lot about Kansas City's vertical game. And I just thought of something, so we'll get the ball and falling in a moment. But I want to stay on this because we're kind of laid right into it. We talk about the vertical game at Kansas City all the time, right?
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill going deep,
big
all
plays.
these guys. They got big plays all over the field. They got a ton of speed. They can send everybody. Well, what about the big play capability of the Jaguars in this football game on the vertical routes? Because Conley, you mentioned, D.D. Westbrook can get there. They've got DJ Chark can get down there. Keelan Cole's shown an ability to get down there. But I'm looking at the weakness of their defense. And this is a guy that doesn't watch the Kansas City Chiefs practice, hasn't really investigated the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not calling the plays against them. But their defense, their corners, Bashad Breeland, who's bounced around the NFL.
For a reason.
And Rashad Fenton, a 6th-round pick, who's a rookie. If I'm DeFilippo and Foles, I'm taking my guys and saying, I might not have the best receiving core in the league, but I can beat these guys.
Yeah.
And so, all this talk about the vertical passing game of the Chiefs and how it matches up against the Jags defense, the key in this thing might be, can Foles and Conley and Foles and Westbrook, Foles and Cole, Foles and Chark, can they connect?
Yeah.
A couple of times in this game to make some big plays of their own. And on paper, I kind of like the matchup.
Well, but here's how you set it up,
can you block them up front first?
Well, and that's the most important part. And what a better way to set up the vertical passing game, which I agree with you. I think they're very vulnerable, especially at corner and also linebacker. Their linebackers, the Jaguars should be able to exploit as well.
Which means you might be able to run the football.
Well, and this is my point. If you want to exploit their corners, if you want to throw that vertical ball, which we've seen Chris Conley run numerous times now in training camp, you set it up with the run. You set it up with the play action, and you go from there. And I think if the Jaguars have the ability to, once again, win in the trenches, run the ball a little bit, number one, that makes it easier on the offensive line for the play action because now the defensive line is second-guessing themselves, and also it kind of exploits the corners, who you said and I've said as well, are kind of exploitable in terms of, is it going to be a run or pass, run that play action, and go a couple go routes? Yeah, it should be there all day.
Who would you be more comfortable running behind right now, the right side or left side of the Jags line?
Ooh, good question.
Because here's what I say. Like, you want Norwell, right? He's an all-pro guy. But Cam Robinson, how ready is he? Jawan Taylor's good with the run game. We know that.
He's a mauler.
And he's been good.
Who's playing right guard for the...
who knows? And that's the point. So it's like, I wonder where they're more comfortable running. To the right side. I mean, obviously, their interior they kind of like. But are they more comfortable? I would say on the right side because I'm not sure what I'm going to get out of Cam Robinson, and I like Taylor in the run game.
Well, and you have to ask this question, too. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs right now, game planning, who are you trying to expose, especially a tackle? Do you think Juwan Taylor's the guy because he's a rookie? Or do you think Cam Robinson coming off that knee injury?
I think I'd jump on Cam Robinson.
Frank Clarkson being Cam Robinson? Yeah. I probably agree on you.
Just because Rust's confidence, I would. And I'll tell you the other reason, Taylor's a big dude, man. I'm not saying Cam's a small guy. I'm just saying he's a rock-solid guy.
Yeah.
So, interesting. It'll be a lot of fun stuff to break down the next couple of days.
I can't wait, man. You know, I live for that stuff.
I know. Well, we're doing it. We're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Forget about Hurricane Dorian. We're breaking down the Jags Chiefs, and we got Ballin' and Fallin' next.
This is Golic and Wingo.
Here is Will Kane, ladies and gentlemen.
Jerry Jones meant nothing. It's quite clearly a joke. Can we not try to use victimhood as our ace of spades in the ultimate card game of life?
You know what this is? Rocky Arsenault using something to negotiate.
Yeah.
It's not victimhood. It's not a plague sweeping society. It's, okay, you said something, and I'm going to use it to my advantage. That's it.
Golic and Wingo, weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
What happens when your alarm system gets triggered? Let's say you're at work and your house is getting broken into. You want the police called, right? Well, that only happens with a Safe Touch security system. You heard me, right? Yes, the law states that if an alarm is not verified, the alarm contractor must call the key holders before calling the police, giving the crooks plenty of time to clean out your home and have an easy getaway. But the Safe Touch two-way communicator verifies the holdup in just seconds, allowing the Safe Touch operators to dispatch emergency authorities in seconds. Also providing valuable information to the authorities. Customers also receive an instant text verification as well as live video of who's in your home. This video can be transferred to the police, giving them a huge advantage in the war on crime. Don't just think you're safe, know you're safe. Get the Safe Touch Advantage now and receive a free color listen and talk camera and just $5 extra for storage. Get the Safe Touch Advantage now at safetouch.com. License number EF233 with approved credit terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Mike Golic from Golic and Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. Clearly, it's because I'm on every morning from 6 till 10 a.m. But this isn't about me. It's about your business. Get your business noticed today. First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get on our team than right now. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
As Dorian takes aim at Florida, Action News Jax and the First Alert Weather Team are keeping a watchful eye on the tropics. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish tracking Dorian's every move.
This is the time to prepare. Download the First Alert Weather app and get real-time radar, hourly forecast updates, and the latest track on Dorian. And on TV, we'll be working round the clock to bring you live updates and live coverage as the storm approaches. At Action News Jax, we're here for severe. Keep you and your family safe.
This season, our team will have the best defense in the league. For your home, the best defense is a fence from Armstrong Fence Company. When it comes to home fences, Jacksonville owners trust Armstrong Fence Company. Visit Armstrong-Fence.com. That's Armstrong-Fence.com. Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Attention men and women, if you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Family, food, and football. Renna's Pizza checks the box on all three. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years. Fresh ingredients every day. And your home for football. all fall. Watch the games and dine in at Renna's 5 locations, or let Renna's help with your football get-together. A menu to satisfy the entire family's appetite. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Family, food, and football at Renna's Pizza.
The New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. The rivalry continues this weekend. Saturday at 3:30 Eastern and Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Indeed.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Welcome back, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. Getting ready for a football game on Sunday. Just to let you know, we'll have our picks. We are doing a celebrity pick six segment. Are we calling it celebrity pick six or celebrity six pack? I like the pick six.
Maybe it's I like the six pack though.
I like a six pack.
Yeah, I mean we're all kind of degenerates here, right?
Yeah, Kuz is. Look at him. He's doing everything except for drinking right now.
What's up, man? What are you doing? What are you eating over there?
Cookie.
Just a protein bar.
Oh, I bet it is.
By the way, where's the food today, man?
It's in the kitchen.
Nah,
seriously?
Was there something else?
Oh, you
just snacks.
See how upset
Just
I got when I thought he meant like somebody catered again.
We
I
ate
missed out on it.
food yesterday, but anyway, we'll have some picks on Friday. Celebrity guests to be announced. I don't think I'm going to give that one away.
I wouldn't yet.
I wouldn't do it
Pretty
around
big name.
4:30.
Okay. And also, we got a fantasy football draft tomorrow during the show.
We do. That's
first time in, I'm telling you right now, Brent, first time in sports radio history.
There's probably a reason it hasn't been done in sports history. It might be the worst thing that's ever been done on this station.
Now,
that's saying a lot.
I want to go ahead and apologize, though, because I think we lost a key opportunity to do it today during the hurricane. It would have been the first fantasy football draft done on live radio during a hurricane.
That's true.
And that I can put my stamp on. I'm not sure about
day and everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure about being the first fantasy thing to be on live radio tomorrow.
Can we call it audible and do it now?
That'd be great for everybody.
I don't think
Stewart would be a little busy, I think, wrapped up, right. Trying to make his picks right now.
He's getting
Sky Cam Stewart.
Yeah. Sky Cam Stewart.
You better
All right,
believe
let's go balling and follow, man. What you got?
All right, Brent. So balling. It's not too often that the University of Nevada beats Purdue. It's even less often that a freshman kicker wins the game from a 56-yard field goal. And it's even more or less often that a player gets a scholarship after his performance in his first collegiate game. Well, guess what? Brandon Talton isn't like most players. Check out the audio.
With 3 seconds left from 56 yards out. Does he have it? Yes, he does! Nevada wins at the gun! It's good from 56 from the freshman Brandon Talton. Nevada 34, Purdue 31.
And then we got a little post-game speech here.
And last but not least, he's from Vacaville. He's from Vacaville. We'll get to that. Scully! Congratulations. Outstanding game ball and scholarship.
Brandon Talton, freshman, 56-yard field goal, game ball, scholarship. Sorry, Purdue. Wolfpack takes it.
Yeah, I can't believe. I thought first of all they were saying Jacksonville for a second. I was like, did I miss this local story this week?
I tried to play the audio like 10 times. They're not saying Jacksonville.
But that's a cool story.
Yeah.
I could have balling as well. Did you see the Nationals pitcher? I wonder if this will become a thing now.
I don't think I saw this.
Because you know how like the scholarships have become a thing.
Yeah.
Where everybody does it in a certain way. Mm-hmm. Well, what's his name? It's not my balling, although it could have been balling. The Nationals pitcher, he had like Tommy John surgery in 2015.
Strasburg?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a guy you haven't heard of.
Okay, gotcha.
2015, and then another injury in 2015. I think it was an ankle, and then an elbow in 2016. Well, yesterday, his manager in the minor leagues kind of made it a big deal, said, hey, this is the best guy I've ever coached, blah, blah, blah. It's great. And then they gave him a ball and said, you're going to the big leagues. And but it was done in front of the camera and everything, which was a great idea. That would be
Aaron
cool
Barrett,
to see.
his name is, by the way.
Who was it?
Aaron Barrett.
There we go.
Yeah.
And that's a neat story. It was neat how they did it.
Wow.
Because...
Yeah, I'm seeing the video right here. It looks pretty cool.
Oh, you have the audio of that, Coos? Let's go, man.
Okay,
Where
Coos.
did this come from?
Okay, Coos, a little audible.
And it's an honor that I got to manage you. But it's more of an honor to tell you going back to the big leagues.
Let's go! That's pretty awesome.
That's really cool.
And you know, again, I think I've brought this up several times over the summer, too. But I was reading this book about minor league baseball, and it's about AAA level. And there's a lot of conversation in there about managers pulling guys in and how that's like their best moment is to tell a guy he's going to the big leagues.
Yeah.
And I just was the way they did this, they had it on video. I'm not sure everybody wants it on video, but it would be a cool thing to see because you know it's an emotional time, especially for anybody that goes up.
Yeah.
But this guy, long road back, hadn't pitched up there in like 4 years. So pretty cool stuff there. Heck, I might have just made that my balling because
Barrett, man,
we talked about it.
Yeah.
A nice job, Coos, on that. Maybe Coos should be balling.
Coos is balling, man. MVP right there.
And really, what I was going to do is one of our top story, or one of the top stories in sports, my balling was going to be Ezekiel Elliott, and not necessarily because of his deal, but what it might mean for other running backs around the NFL. This is a position that has been devalued at times. It's a position that has been debated on whether you should spend that kind of money. It's been a position it's debated heavily whether you should pick a guy in the top 5. And we've seen Fournette, we've seen Ezekiel Elliott, and we've seen Saquon Barkley in recent years go in the top 5. And teams are fully invested in that spot. Well, this is just another investment. And of all the players that may have helped change things for their position, I didn't get this sense with Gurley. I didn't get this sense with Le'Veon Bell for sitting out a year. But I got the sense today with Ezekiel Elliott, the way this thing transpired, with the Cowboys needing still to pay Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott, and they said, hey, we want to pay Ezekiel Elliott first. I think this one could go a long way in changing the game a bit, the running back room, and at least getting them more dollars. This is an important position for guys to make money because you don't play that long in general at that position. Now, the NFL's like that in general, but overall in the running back spot, you don't play as long as a guy like who's a pass rusher will play. You just don't. I go all the way back to our conversations with Maurice Jones-Drew. I never minded what he was doing. I think you could debate on how he did it when he was in Jacksonville, but he had one more chance to get paid, and that's what he knew, and he was trying to get paid because it's such a short life in the NFL as a running back. So I think this was a big deal across the NFL for running backs. I'm not sure I would have done it if I was a GM. But it's a big win for Ezekiel Elliott. It's a big win for running backs, especially good ones around the NFL.
See, I think it's a big win for the big picture of the NFL too, Brent. Like, yes, it's a big win for the backs, but I think it's a big winner for NFL players in general because what I always talk about, I talk about the power of players believing in themselves. And this is another example where a player believed in himself, went against the grain, went against the system, although Jerry Jones is kind of making it known that they're not worried about it. Well, guess what? Now Ezekiel Elliott's the highest paid running back in the NFL. So what did we learn today? We learned that believing in yourself once again. And now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking to like a depth player where it's like, well, I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to sit out. Well, then you're expendable. But I'm talking about like the upper tiers. I'm talking about the elite players. I'm talking about Le'Veon Bell. I'm talking about Antonio Brown. Now Ezekiel Elliott. We have these guys here, Brent, when they believe in themselves, man, it's been paying off because you're starting to see now that the sheep outnumber the wolves, and people are starting to kind of realize that now. And listen, I'm not knocking Jerry Jones by any means because he made a business decision, but to come out and kind of talk smack about, Ezekiel Elliott and then pay him all that money, it's interesting. Now, don't get me wrong. The owners still have the privilege. They still have the upper hand with Melvin Gordon and Trent Williams now, too, as well. Trent Williams, one of the best left tackles in the NFL, wants a new contract, and Trent Williams isn't budging. And guess what? Redskins aren't going to budge either.
And I don't think Melvin Gordon's going to get his thing.
No.
I don't think it's going to work out in Gordon's favor.
I don't think so either.
But I do think in the big landscape of running backs, this deal helps running backs.
It does. But now, who's to say, listen, if for some reason all of a sudden Gordon gets paid now, then it's like open the floodgates. Everyone's getting some money.
Listen, I'll go back and say this about the Ezekiel Elliott part. Yeah. I was not a fan. Guy's got 2 years, $13 million left on his deal. I'm not a fan of 2 years left on your. I get the 1 year. That's when negotiations can begin. Unless a team comes to you. Listen, it's the structure of the world, whether you like it or and I'm not. Maybe it isn't right. Maybe they're right, but I don't like that in the NBA. I don't like the NBA, the players being able to dictate where they go and hold teams hostage. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that's a dangerous precedent to set, and I think the NBA could get itself in trouble with players calling the shots as much as they do. Haven't yet, but they might.
Yeah.
Just saying. And we'll see. I might be dead wrong on that. But I think if the NFL is going to get into this game, which it appears they are going toward that a little bit, the Antonio Browns, the Le'Veon Bells, the Ezekiel Elliott, I think it's a dangerous thing. And I think it's good that players get paid. I'm all for it. I think once you start bucking the trend and all this business becomes bigger than trying to win and the team, it just does something that doesn't feel right about that. Now, again, Ezekiel, he won this. But with 2 years, $13 million, it's not like he was getting paid $100,000 to play the running back position this year, you know?
I'm going to say this, though, Brent. You said the NBA players are running the NBA, and I agree with that. But in my opinion, the NBA has never been more popular than it is right now because of that exact reason.
And it's a fair point. It's very good, and we might have more parity than we've ever had because instead of the three-headed monster, we're having two-headed monsters instead. It's like it's a tandem deal.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean in 3 or 4 years it's going to be good because of it. You can find yourself in a bad spot, and that's where I want to see where it ends up. I think it's a little bit – these leagues have survived a long time, and sports has thrived for a long time doing it this way. It hasn't been the wrong way. Now, does this become the better way? Maybe. Maybe it does.
Yeah.
But I'm a little worried about it when players get that. They take teams for hostage. And again, it's not the owner. It's not like I'm for the owner. When you take a team for hostage, you're taking your teammates for hostage. You're taking a fan base for hostage. Yeah. You're doing a lot of that.
Well,
and you got to look out for number one. I get it.
And this begs the question real quick, too. 2020, this new CBA, do you start to see a shortened deal in terms of, the first-round picks?
Or the running backs. Yeah, the running back union, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now maybe it's like a three-year deal instead of a 4-year deal with a fifth-year option.
And maybe that's the way to do it, right? I mean, again, this might spark good change. It might really have. I'm just not convinced of that just yet. Yeah. Could be dangerous. All right, we got following. Speaking of dangerous, offensive lineman with no clothes on next.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m.
We're happy to be joined by Jenna Lane of ESPN.
It's actually my first time interacting with Austin, too, so no relation here.
Well, Jenna, that was my first question was, have you been to any family reunions in Chicago? Because I don't think I've ever seen you before. I just want to make sure, though.
And by the way, Jenna, let's just make this perfectly clear. It's a really good thing you're not related to Austin.
Oh, wow, Brent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's how you feel about it. Okay,
it's just
Brent.
a really good thing.
Off to a good start.
On ESPN 690.
What's up, North Florida poker fans? This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The World Poker Tour returns to Jacksonville September 27th, and there's no better time to lock up your seat in the main event than right now. You will find satellites into the $5,000 buy-in main event for as little as $120. Satellites are going on now. Get ready to take your shot at $1 million prize pool in the WPT main event. For more detailed information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
Welcome back to No Brainer. Gary.
I'll take cars and trucks.
What's the best way to protect your engine from gum, varnish, and corrosion?
Stay-Built 360.
Gasoline with ethanol can go bad in as little as blank.
30 days?
Using Stay-Built 360 ethanol treatment year-round is what?
Is it a no-brainer?
It is. You win peace of mind, Gary.
Awesome. Can I have money?
Stay-Built 360. It's a no-brainer. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Sometimes for inspiration, you just have to look up. For more than 60 years, the Goodyear blimp has fueled greatness on the gridiron by providing aerial coverage of some of the most legendary moments in college football history. When the Goodyear blimp rises above a stadium, it inspires players to reach higher and rise to the challenge of the game's biggest moments. Now it's your turn to go further with Goodyear. Discover tires made to rise above the rest. Learn more at Goodyear.com. Goodyear, more driven.
Our partners at BSN Sports, the largest provider of team sports equipment and apparel in the country, would like to thank all of the coaches out there who truly are the heart of the game. While BSN Sports is the best at equipping athletes with a one-stop shop for everything needed to run an athletic program, coaches are the best at equipping lives. And that's the real final score. Learn more about how BSN Sports can save you time off the field so you can impact more lives on it by calling your local BSN Sports sales professional or by visiting bsnsports.com today.
I think Carson Wentz is going to come back and have a resurgent year.
Are you not concerned at all with the lack of depth at quarterback position? They had to rely a lot on Nick Foles. Carson Wentz gets hurt every year.
Not every year.
Go Lick and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN 690.
Hey, I'm Jay DeMarcus from Rascal Flats, and this is Action Sports Jacks.
All right, Ballin' and Fallin' continues. Before we get to, I'll do that in a minute. We're going to have to ring the bell, a special ring of the bell. Not yet. Not yet. Not even a part of falling. Said this would be kind of more like balling. But welcome everybody back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hurricane Dorian passing through. Evacuations lifted at 7 o'clock in Duval County. Already being lifted in St. Johns County. School is back in on Friday. Good news there. Bridges are open. So that's your latest update. Once again, I remind you, if you want more on the weather front, we're trying to be a little bit of an outlet for you if you've had too much. But if you want a little bit more and the latest, check out CBS 47 and Fox 30, a First Alert weather team. Doing a fantastic job giving you pictures and everything from the area, what's happening at the beaches, and also on 104.5 FM. You can check out all the coverage of Hurricane Dorian. Nobody doing it better. But let's get back to sports. And how about a little falling? Ooh, we got a wild one last night on the Diamond.
Beat the Mets. Beat the Mets. Come right up and beat the Mets. Yeah, in a stacked NL wildcard division, every game matters, Brent. And with a month left of baseball, the Mets found themselves in Washington with a nice, cozy, comfortable 6-run lead last night in the 9th before the floodgates opened, allowing 7 runs and a giant L against the Washington Nationals. Here's a little bit of audio.
Kurt Suzuki, see you later. The Nats have won it. 7 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Everyone dances. Unbelievable. Are you kidding me, Kurt Suzuki? This ball club is something else. I'm telling you, something special is going on in D.C., folks. I have never seen anything like that 9th inning. 11-10, and he walks off the Mets. Unbelievable.
So he said the Nats win it. Because I thought, I was like, wait a second. I thought the Mets lost last night.
Nats,
okay, yeah, the Nats. Gotcha. But yeah, there you go.
Nice bounce back by the Mets today. They beat the Nats 8-4.
They did. Are we starting to slow down the hype train now of the Mets? I mean, it's pretty much done, right?
It's pretty much done.
Okay,
they went on like a 6-game slide, and that kind of killed it. That was all about Peter Alonso and hitting home runs.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, though. The more we don't talk a ton of baseball here, but the more you have to really tip your cap to the Nationals. In April and May, they were not very good, and they've come all the way back to take really a commanding lead in the wild card and be right in the middle of this thing. And how bizarre is it that Bryce Harper leaves Washington, goes to Philly, and the Phillies have disappointed this year with Bryce Harper and all that money. They're a couple of games back in the wild card, might not even make the postseason. The team he leaves, still good enough to go to the postseason, it looks like. And what if? What if, after all the debacles and disappointment in Washington in the postseason, what if they make a run in October without Bryce Harper?
Storylines,
what does it say? You know,
sports loves it.
And it's crazy how that works sometimes, you know? Yes, most teams are better with a guy like Bryce Harper.
Sure.
But it's funny. Maybe the distractions, the this, the that, makes other guys play a little harder, makes guys play a little better. And that's what's happening right now in Washington. And they've been able to really come back after a disappointing start. One note, because we're keeping track of the Huckleberry bet, right?
Yeah,
Huckleberry,
we are.
I don't want to get... I'm not getting overconfident.
This is going to sound maybe kind of bad to me, but why do you call it the Huckleberry bet?
That's a long story.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's just roll with it.
It's not a common term, though. I'm just saying, right?
It's not, but it's
okay, good.
I'm not going to put that part on TV.
Is it from Tombstone?
I mean, on radio.
Is it from Tombstone?
Nope.
Okay, then never mind then. Okay, that's what I was associating.
We have to wait to
with.
see how this thing plays out, and then maybe there'll be more of an explainer down the road.
Gotcha.
But the bottom line is, the Huckleberry bet is, I need someone other than.
Yes.
It's $100 on the line here.
Pride too, Brent.
Oh no, way more. I could care less about the $100.
That's what I'm saying. Stakes can never be higher.
Oh man, that's unbelievable. If I win this, I mean, go crazy.
Well,
I rooted harder for this to be won than I rooted for the Red Sox to win the World Series last year.
And I'm the first person who should be getting this, because when we picked our picks for the divisions and go to the World Series, you told me that bet, and
you said I was crazy.
Oh yeah, you're crazy.
And somebody else might have called me a Huckleberry.
Okay, gotcha. That's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway. The Astros, the Indians, the Red Sox, and the Yankees. One guy has those 4 teams.
Yeah.
I have the rest. Those 4 teams cannot get to the World Series. They cannot make it to the World Series. I know that's all. I know that's why I was called
the Astros,
Huckleberry.
man. Just the Astros. That's the only team I'm worried about.
Well, the Astros and the Yankees obviously are the two best teams.
But they live off the long ball, Brent. We know the story with the long ball.
But here's what I want to have a fighting chance.
What do you got?
I knew the Red Sox weren't going to do anything. I was smart enough to know that. Then the Indians came back like gangbusters in the second half. They were down by 11 games to the Minnesota Twins. Well, now they've taken a back seat. The Twins are taking care of the Central. So I got the Twins. What I want is 2 teams against the Yankees and the Astros, so I get a fair chance. Well, the A's and the Rays are in that wild card hunt. In fact, the Rays now have a game lead, and the A's are tied with the Indians. I need the Indians to be booted out of any postseason play, and then I would have the A's, Rays, and Twins, and the other dude would have the Yankees and the Astros.
Gotcha.
That's all I'm asking. That's what I'm rooting for.
You just want a fighting chance, Brent. That's all you're
Now, if I
asking
really
for.
want to get greedy, I want the Twins to have the top seed, so then the Astros and the Yankees have to play each other.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, but that's a little far-fetched. That's like 3 games difference.
Yep.
That's hard to do, but I'm hopeful.
Well, obviously, I hope you win. I hope the A's do well because I had the A's as my wild card team when we made our
There you
picks.
go.
So.
A's, I'm telling you, if you go look at what the A's have done and the Rays have done, and even the Twins, they've really been impressive. Okay, enough baseball. I got to get to my falling.
Yeah, what do you
This
got?
body issue, dude. We had this conversation a couple weeks ago. You said
Love
you
it.
would love to do
All
the body
about it,
issue.
man.
I said,
I
what
can
is up
break
with the
out my
body issue?
triceps right now.
Do
Yeah.
we really have to see 300-pound grown men?
Dude, yes.
Almost naked?
Yes.
All together on the offensive front?
To be fair, when I was at the Eagles tailgate last year, it didn't look much different. That was going on.
They should ban the body issue after the Eagles' offensive line took part in the body issue.
This is the beauty of the body issue. You're missing the whole point here, man. The point of the body issue, listen, it's not like the Sports Illustrated swimsuit magazine where it's like, it's supposed to be aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
The whole point of the body issue is to showcase and celebrate athletes that have different types of bodies. And when you're talking an offensive lineman, they probably don't have the most aesthetically pleasing body.
Nope, they don't. I can confirm.
Yeah, but guess what? They're getting paid millions and millions of dollars because they're the top of their craft. And that's the beauty of the, and that's why I'm so into it, Brent, because like every body is different in terms of athletes. Like if you look at a gymnast's body compared to, I don't know, maybe like a skier's body, there's gonna be differences, or a basketball player. And that's why I love this thing that they have the Philadelphia Eagles offensive lineman naked, basically, and on the cover of the body issue, and I'm all for it. You remember when Prince Fielder had his body issue, and he was on the cover of it, and Prince Fielder's kind of a bigger dude, right? But I thought it was awesome, man, because, listen, it takes all shapes and sizes to be successful in professional sports, so I celebrate it.
I can see that with their uniform on, man. I mean, I can. Listen, it's nothing personal, guys. It's just that I look at my own body every day in the mirror.
Yeah.
I don't even want to do that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you see Jason Kelsey at the bar and you don't follow football, do you think people are going to believe that this guy makes millions and millions of dollars? He's one of the best centers in the game? I doubt it.
They are awkwardly shaped at times, the offensive linemen. But again, I can see that with a uniform on. I don't need to open up the body issue to see that. Ryan O'Halloran joins us next on ESPN 690. Talk more NFL. Ryan O'Halloran from the Denver Post, beat writer for the Broncos.
But maybe Cam need that little bit of a kick in the rear end, because over a 48-hour span where Doug is saying probably not for Kansas City, and all of a sudden he's out there with a helmet.
Action Sports Jacks, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
So your team scores. Suddenly you're best friends with perfect strangers. Tullamore Dew calls these friendships fanships. When the game is on, order a Tullamore Dew, the original triple-blended, smooth-sipping Irish whiskey for the person next to you. This game day, grab a Tully and strike up a fanship at...
Find Tullamore Dew in Jacksonville at Mellow Mushroom Jack's Beach, Mellow Mushroom Avondale, and Mellow Mushroom Southside.
When it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof, 2019, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
Attention men and women. If you'd like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi, and admission from running back Ezekiel Elliott following his first practice and signing that 6-year, $90 million extension with the Cowboys, told reporters it was important for him to be the highest paid running back in the NFL because he believes he's the best. Today did mark Elliott's first on-field workout with the team since June's minicamp. With all the time he's missed, Elliott won't likely see his usual workload in Sunday's season opener, believes ESPN's Marcus Spears.
I expect him to play 20 to 25 plays. I know the happiest person on earth right now is Kellen Moore. You know how easy his game plan just got? Trying to formulate things to maybe hide Tony Pollard and not force him in the uncomfortable position. When 21 show up, it's like, all right, let's open the whole thing up. He's here for install. We gonna have him get touches in practice.
Marcus Spears on Golic and Wingo. Receiver Antonio Brown didn't appreciate a letter from the Raiders informing him they were fining him $54,000 for unexcused training camp absences. He went on Instagram to vent because, of course, he did. Part of AB's response, everyone got to pay this year, so we clear.
Stable 360 Protection, America's #1 ethanol treatment, recommended by the world's largest small engine manufacturer, Briggs & Stratton. It protects against gum and varnish, removes water, and cleans the entire fuel system. Every time you fill up, add Stable 360 Protection for the ultimate protection. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, welcome back. 5 o'clock hour, and everything's starting to open back up, it looks like. Which is good. Back to normal, which is expected. They still have some rain and some gusts, of course, of wind. Hurricane Dorian off the coast and passing through. And good luck now to our friends north, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. They'll get some of the brunt of what's going on. But not a bad day overall here in Northeast Florida. Easy for me to say. I've been inside all day, not been dealing with the elements. But overall, again, what this thing looked like early last week or even going into the weekend, totally different. And we're talking sports, so if you're tired of the weather, here we are for you. If you want a little more weather, like I've been saying, CBS 47, Fox 30, you can listen in and watch right now. Also, you can listen on 104.5 FM WOKV if you need more of the weather fix and important information happening on that side. Otherwise, you're probably toasting the end to your hurricane party, and you can do so with Vita de Louis. It's happy hour horn time.
Now begin, see the beautiful ladies marching in. There's enough for everyone to win. We're gonna make this party the best thing happening. This is my favorite place. Nothing will replace, no. Anything goes. Gangsters are rolling, half-face smiling. Heads up, think of the rhythm while you're drinking. Anything goes.
Grab a drink, get a shot, and tip your bartenders.
Hey, Vita de Louis recently got a 94 rating. Locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, made in Tequila, Mexico. Shipped directly to Jax Beach. Make your own recipes with Vita de Louis tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you'll ever taste. For locations, recipes, and merchandise, visit VitaDeLouis.com. Drink responsibly, of course, and also thanks to Vita de Louis for hanging out with us at our Action Sports Jax Dream 18 golf tournament that is coming up on September 16th. And, well, it looks like the storm passed by. Maybe didn't cause a lot of damage to golf courses. So we hope that's the case at the golf club at Southampton, which will reopen later this week and will be host to our Dream 18 golf tournament on September 16th. Looking forward to that.
Brent, don't worry about that. I'll be sure to cause them the most damage there when I go
like you did the last time you played there.
Absolutely.
Before we get to Ryan O'Halloran, one thing I forgot to mention. Remember I said you have to ring the bell?
Oh, yeah, good call.
Well, because neighbor Jenny, it's her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Jenny.
Yeah, so you got to ring the bell for Mississippi State. There we go. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
One of our loyal listeners.
Ever get the story where that bell came from in Mississippi State?
Probably. But I may have forgotten by then.
It's all
by
good.
Now. I'll have to go look it up.
Yeah, I'm curious. We used to do like a little league Pee Wee hockey games we used to have.
Yeah.
All the parents used to ring bells as well. So
really, you did the bell thing.
My grandma, yeah, for sure.
They have. Sometimes you pay fines for ringing the bells, like at college games now, and they're willing to pay it.
Yeah.
I went to Lake City, Columbia, a couple weeks ago for our game of the week, and they do the coin shakers. You know, like in the
I know what you're talking
jugs
about.
And make all the noise that way.
Well, Wisconsin used to do like the keys. The Badgers used to have like the keys thing. You just kind of jingle your keys a little bit. So yeah, everyone's got something.
What do they do out in Denver? We welcome in Ryan O'Halloran from the Denver Post, of course, beat writer for the Broncos, but we talk all things NFL. That place can get rocking, can it, Ryan?
It can. It shakes a little bit, but good to join you guys. And when you texted me this morning saying there was a show, I was glad to hear it since we've had a couple instances where we were stranded in Houston like 2 years ago for a hurricane.
Yeah, absolutely. The Jags not practicing today. So this one's a little bit different than the Houston trip you're talking about where they stayed an extra couple of nights while they were stuck in Houston after the game. This one, the impacts maybe a bit more being on the field today, but nonetheless, I think it's minor in the grand scheme of things. All right, man, you got a football game this week too, Monday nighter, right?
Yep. 10:20 Eastern for those of you who are night owls and can't sleep.
That's crazy. That's all. It's kind of fun. It's actually a lot of fun out here with the doubleheader on Monday night. But what do you expect in that football game from a Broncos standpoint?
Well, I expect Vic Fangio to have a couple of tricks up his sleeve and cause some problems for Derek Carr. And, Antonio Brown is the wild card. You haven't seen him play in the preseason. There's been a ton of drama. I asked John Gruden about that today. Of course, he downplayed it, saying that was for the cameras. But it'd be interesting to see what kind of chemistry him and Carr have right off the hop.
What's the feeling in Denver with Flacco as the quarterback, Fangio as the new guy? Is it like everywhere else? Is there a cautious optimism? Is there bigger than that? The problem for the Broncos is even if you have cautious optimism, the reality is you have the Chargers who are very good on paper, and you have the Chiefs who are obviously very good on paper too.
Yeah, I think the optimism in the locker room is a lot higher than it is in the public, and that's usually what it is. And after 3 straight playoff years, which followed 5 straight division titles, this fan base is in a show me mode right now. Hey, we'll support you. We're going to watch you on TV, but you need to get off to a good start and show us that times have changed.
Ryan O'Halloran here, joined from the Broncos beat writer for the Denver Post. Ryan, a little big picture topic here. Obviously, one of the big news of the day is Ezekiel Elliott signing his new deal, a deal which I thought wasn't really going to happen. You hear Jerry Jones kind of talk about him saying Zeke who and everything like that when all of a sudden they get the deal done. And my question to you is, number one, are you surprised of the deal? But number two, with the new CBA coming forward in 2020, are we going to see maybe a new setup now where these rookie contracts, especially for the first round guys, aren't going to be 4 years with the 5th year option? Are we maybe going to see maybe like a 3-year deal with like a 4th year option now?
Well, if I'm the union, that would be a good route to go. Yeah. Right now that 4th and 5th year, let's say then you tag a guy. Well, it's for 6 years under club control. Where the Elliott thing is interesting is he had 2 years left on his deal. So they extended him. This takes him through his prime years. But really, you start, some of the cap numbers are starting to seep out. It looks like there's an out 3 years from now. So, we'll see what the real money is, the $50 million guaranteed. I just can't believe another running back got paid. To me, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm not pro-owner. I'm not pro-union either way. I don't think it doesn't make a lot of fiscal sense because they got to think that Ezekiel Elliott is going to, A, stay out of trouble, B, stay healthy, and C, stay productive. That's 3 big asks for that position in pro football.
Yeah, absolutely is. And it could change the game. It's good for running backs everywhere because the price keeps going up, and even not bottom-level deals or mid-level deals. I think this kind of deal could have an impact on, for sure. We'll see how Ezekiel Elliott plays. He's been fantastic when he's on the field and when he's ready to go. But I agree. It's a lot of money for a running back. Speaking of a lot of money, Jared Goff, you had to do it, right? I mean, 30 million bucks. But gosh, Ryan, I mean, to me, this guy is not in that category. He's not a $30+ million quarterback. Is that just me, or did they just have to do it?
Well, as a defensive player on the Broncos said to me today, 110? So because that's the guaranteed money. And because they faced him last year, he had a pedestrian game here in Denver. It was freezing cold. I think he got sacked 5 times, threw an interception, made a couple of plays on third down. The going rate now is $25 million a year. Yeah. And they went a little bit above beyond that. It just like, it's good to be an average quarterback in this league. The running back thing, you have to be a superstar to get that kind of, the market setting money. Whereas a quarterback, you'd go 9-7 and you're at $25 million a year.
I think I might have asked you this before, but with the quarterback, just the average salary of a quarterback getting to this level, like you said, $25 million, and then some have to even pay more. Like, is Kirk Cousins a $29 million quarter? I don't think so. Derek Carr's deal for years ago, I don't think so. Listen, Aaron Rodgers, I think I'd pay him whatever I can pay him, even if it hurts your football team. But the point I'm getting at is, because it's so skewed on that side, do you think we get to a point in the new CBA or somewhere along the way where the salary cap has to even increase just to be able to fit more good players under the cap?
Well, potentially, but the other thing is that the next quarterback contract is Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to be the first $40 million a year player.
Yeah.
And if I'm you've seen some pundits talk about this in recent years, where should some of that quarterback salary not count against the cap? And should you make an extraordinary player exception where maybe that counts, maybe his salary counts 75% again, of the cap. So it'd be a lot of working pieces there. But where I thought you were going there, Brent, is okay, who sets the market next? I think it is going to be Mahomes.
Yeah, it absolutely will be Mahomes. I mean, that thing is going to be off the charts. I just think they have to. You want to be able to keep a guy like that, and I get it. If you should reward that guy. You should be rewarded for drafting that guy. But you also want to be able to put stuff around him. And if you pay that guy $40 million. Well, it really minimizes what you can put around him. You can't afford everybody. That's just the way the structure is. So it'll be fascinating to keep an eye on. Hey, what do you think about, speaking of Mahomes?
Real quick, Brent, on the top heavy of the cap, that's where a team like the Rams is going to be interesting. Right now, you've got Goff, Donald, and Gurley. And that's 3 players maybe taking up 30% of your cap.
Yeah.
That means you better be able to draft and develop on day 2 and 3 of those drafts.
You have to fill your roster with those friendly deals. And if you don't, you're in trouble. And you're eating those contracts, even if you have some pretty good players. Okay, speaking of Mahomes, how do you see? I think probably because I'm right here, right? But I think this is just fascinating all across the league. You have this fantastic offense, a fantastic defense on paper with the Jags, and then you have 2 real unknown offenses. Like, what is DeFilippo and Foles and this Jags offense going to look like? What is that new look Kansas City defense going to look like? Fascinating matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the week 1 schedule by all accounts sucks. This is the best. This is one of the top games. I mean, this is the game we're getting in Denver for the early game. So there is some national appeal. And it's a classic match of strength versus strength. You would anticipate Chiefs offense versus Jaguars defense. But, if they cancel themselves out and Kansas City scores 3 touchdowns on offense and Jacksonville has maybe 1 or 2 takeaways, can Nick Foles and Leonard Fournette do enough? Can they take advantage of a new Kansas City defense with so many new players, with a new scheme, with a new play caller to try and keep up with the Chiefs? They can't outscore Kansas City, but can they create a couple takeaways that have a couple of short fields and score red zone touchdowns? That's the key.
Ryan, obviously being with Denver, you see the Kansas City Chiefs twice a year. You've seen a pretty solid defense in the Denver Broncos try to take on the Chiefs. I mean, I can sit here and say, yeah, obviously you have Tyreek Hill, you have Travis Kelce. They had Kareem Hunt, this past year, but they always have the weapons. My question to you is, how do you stop all those weapons? Because it seems like Andy Reid is the mastermind of getting the ball to his playmakers, regardless of what defense you throw at them.
Yeah, and when the Chiefs played in Denver on Monday night last year, and I wish I had that number in front of me. I think they had maybe the Broncos had maybe 3 sacks, but they had like 15 pressures. Mm-hmm. They just couldn't get them down. They would flush them out of the pocket. They tried to chase them down. He would throw a pass left-handed. He would try and scramble and extend the play. So that's the big thing is for Todd Wash. What is your rush plan? I still think you got to be aggressive and blitz and not worry about staying in your lanes and containing the edges because Mahomes is going to get around those guys anyways. I think you got to be very aggressive and trust your corners. And the big matchup for me is who covers Kelce. You got 2 young safeties. I don't really like a linebacker against Kelce. So do you maybe play a little bit of nickel as your base to get maybe DJ Hayden against Kelce just a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about that a bit yesterday. It's a fascinating conundrum, if you will, for this defense because you lose Tayshaun Gibson, who could be really good against tight ends. Jags don't have that right now. And with Telvin Smith gone, too, it doesn't kind of take away some flexibility. So I think you're right on the money there. The one thing about Kansas City, they're going to make some big plays. Like, you have to be okay with that. You're going to give up a couple. You just can't give up a lot, but you're going to give up a couple. And then it's just about the offense of the Jags. Can they keep up? Can they score 27? Can they get to 30? Whatever the number might need to be. One more football question, Ryan, and then I'll let you go on wrestling if you need to, because you guys missed it last week.
We did, yeah.
But no, I missed it again this week.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I still have a couple questions for you. It's all
gosh,
good.
Okay. I even watched a little of the All Elite Wrestling. See that?
Yeah,
you want to
just have a conversation with me? Brett. All right, we're still talking wrestling now.
They found the belt. Jericho's belt has been found.
Hey, you know what? That story's coming later on and stay in your lane.
Oh, okay. Yes. Good. I'm just trying to show you my knowledge.
No, I appreciate it, man.
Last one for you, man. Ramifications week 1. I think that doesn't really happen in the NFL, but is there a game like Steelers, Patriots? Is there a game that could say down the road, ooh, you missed a chance? I know it was early, but you missed a chance.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick story from the past. When I was covering the Redskins, Drew Bledsoe is the Dallas quarterback. Both Redskins and Cowboys both lose week 1. They play each other week 2. Bledsoe gets on the conference call and says, "Hey, is the sky falling up there too?" And that's the natural thing. There's going to be half the teams in this league who are going to have some momentum. The half the teams are going to be saying, "Holy crud, we can't start 0-2." But I look at that Jets-Bills game, and it's an off-the-radar game, but it's a rare division game for week 1. And, is that a loser who really digs himself a hole? Because one of those teams could contend for a wild card because you're going to figure Miami, that's 2 wins because the Dolphins are going to be a complete debacle. But that's one game. I look at Falcons-Vikings because I think both those teams could be playing for a wild card. That could end up playing a big head-to-head tiebreaker 3 months from now.
Yeah, very good call there. All right, take it away, Austin.
Appreciate it. So, Ryan, I'm not sure you said you didn't watch wrestling, but I'm sure you've probably been keeping track of it. So Bayley ends up turning heel with a chair shot to Becky Lynch, and then she comes out last night, SmackDown Live, and she's almost playing the role now of like a delusional heel. So she's like kind of teeter-tottering on being a heel or being a face. You don't really know where it's going to go. Well, for Monday Night Raw, when she hit Becky Lynch with the chair and she was a full-blown heel, the crowd was cheering for her. It was almost as big as pop as when Becky Lynch got her pop back in the day. So my question to you is, what do you do with Bayley now? Do you go all in on the heel angle, or do you kind of keep in, to account that there are a lot of kids out there? She is kind of like the female John Cena. And do you just kind of ride the wave a little bit of just having her be a face and then a heel again?
Well, I don't want them to teeter.
Yeah.
Just do it one way or the other. And they were smart enough. They knew that John Cena was never going to be a heel.
Of course.
And Roman Reigns is never going to be a heel because of the kids. Yep. So if you're committed to trying that out, give it a shot for a couple weeks. And if you don't like the reaction, you can try something different.
All right, be honest with us. When you call around the country to some other shows, anybody let you talk wrestling?
Hell no.
Right, I got one question for you.
You got another one.
Well, I got to ask about the All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view, Brent. Is
That's
that cool?
fine. Go ahead.
Are we good?
We don't need to go to breaks or anything.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Cool. Hold the phone. All right. So, Ryan, did you watch the All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
Okay, well, there you go then, Brent. Easy enough for you.
I'm going to have to give. By the way, heads up, guys. I will not be watching it next week either because of the Monday night game.
Yeah,
of course.
See, he's not
I'll
a
be watching a
DVR
split
guy.
screen. Huh?
Get a DVR it or something, don't
I know,
you?
for sure. Well, it's kind of hard to DVR pay-per-view, I feel like, but
You can't do that?
No.
I don't
think so. I don't know. I
You
didn't
probably
I didn't
can't.
pay for it.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Well, hey, you're working too hard anyway, covering the Broncos from the Denver Post. Ryan O'Halloran. Hey, thanks, man. We'll catch up with you next week after week 1 is in the books. Can't wait for it.
Look forward to it, guys. Thanks.
All right, Ryan O'Halloran from the Denver Post to cover the Jags, of course, and we'll talk a little wrestling like nobody else in the country will do. We're coming up next. We want to speak to an old friend from Jacksonville who's now a head coach at Ole Miss and how this hurricane impacted the Bahamas. There's a tie in all of that. It's coming up next. We still have Stay in Your Lane later down the road, and we'll talk more football as well here on a Wednesday edition. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Is Max Muncy a great name for a power hitter? 80% of the audience said yes. It's hard to get better than that, right? Max Muncy?
Well, let's see. Can we do better than that? Can anyone do better than Max Muncy?
Home Run Smith.
That's a great one, Chris. You did great work there. Home Run Smith.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Hurricane Dorian moving away, so the gusty winds and some lingering showers will be ending this evening, partly to mostly cloudy overnight and cooler in the low 70s. It'll be a sunny and hot Thursday and Friday, temperatures into the 90s. With your First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jack's Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Savings on top of huge selection on top of rave customer reviews. That's how they do the National Clearance Event at Arlington Toyota. During the National Clearance Event, you can take your pick from over 1,000 new and pre-owned on Arlington's lot. I mean, come on, 1,000 vehicles. You know you're going to find what you want and save during the National Clearance Event at Arlington. Right now, during the National Clearance Event at Arlington, buy a 2019 Corolla LE from just $14,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE from just $14,888. Or buy a 2019 Tacoma SR5 from just $24,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 Tacoma SR5 from just $24,888. Plus, you get the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club with your purchase. Just one of the tons of reasons why Arlington's earned 4.7 out of 5 stars and over 7,000 Google reviews. Arlington knows how to do the national clearance sale right, but you've got to get it while the getting is good. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online 24/7 at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hey, boss, you're not gonna believe this.
What now?
Remember Frankie, the guy we've been showing the ropes to?
Who?
You know, our protege.
Oh, yeah, Frankie. The next generation of crooks making us proud.
Yeah, not so much. Boss, he just got busted.
He what?
Yup. Cops caught him. He was, boss, you might want to sit down for this.
Uh-oh. Sounds serious.
Yeah, they caught him breaking into our warehouse.
Ooh, that little weasel. Of all the places to break into, he chose our warehouse? You just can't trust anyone these days.
Yeah, and he knew we had Safe Touch security monitoring the place with the two-way communicator, the video monitoring.
Huh. Serves him right for breaking rule number 1 in the Crooks R Us handbook. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah.
Kids these days.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau, and let me be your party planner. How does this sound? 18 holes at the golf club at Southampton, followed by your fantasy football draft party. Golf and football. And oh yeah, food. Southampton has it all, including a special tailgate catering menu all fall. Call 287-PLAY. That's 287-PLAY to set up golf, your fantasy football party at the clubhouse, and give Lisa a call for your tailgate catering. 287-PLAY. And see the menu at golfsouthampton.com.
Hey, everybody, this is Austin Lane. I used to wear number 92, and while it's a great number, 94 just might be better.
That's because Vida de Luis recently got a 94 rating. Hey, this is Brent Martineau. Vida de Luis is a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jack's Beach. Make your your own recipes with Vida de Luis Tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste.
For locations, recipes, and merchandise, visit VitaDeLuis.com.
Leave your troubles ashore. Live the island life with the citrus of the sea. Vida de Luis Tequila. Must be at least 21 to drink. Drink responsibly. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Savings on top of huge selection on top of rave customer reviews. That's how they do the National Clearance Event at Arlington Toyota. During the National Clearance Event, you can take your pick from over 1,000 new and pre-owned on Arlington's lot. I mean, come on, 1,000 vehicles. You know you're going to find what you want and save during the National Clearance Event at Arlington. Right now, during the National Clearance Event at Arlington, buy a 2019 Camry LE from just $18,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 Camry LE from just $18,888. Or buy a 2019 RAV4 XLE from just $24,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 RAV4 XLE from just $24,888. Plus, you get the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club with your purchase. Just one of the tons of reasons why Arlington's earned 4.7 out of 5 stars and over 7,000 Google reviews. Arlington knows how to do the national clearance sale right, but you've got to get it while the getting is good. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online 24/7 at arlingtontoyota.com.
The New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. The rivalry continues this weekend. Saturday at 3:30 Eastern and Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Indeed.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jack.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Brent Martineau, former Jags player Austin Lane, Coos here as well on a Wednesday edition of Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Of course, the storm through Jacksonville off the coast is pulling away now, heading up toward the Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina area. This is a 2-week storm, Hurricane Dorian, and Jacksonville got a bit of a break. It didn't come as close as initially thought, and then it was predicted that it would not come that close in the last few days by our first alert weather team. And thankfully, got some rain, got some wind. But overall, things are opening back up and things are in pretty good order here in Jacksonville. Not the case, of course, in the Bahamas. And all our thoughts continue to be with everybody in the Bahamas, where this hurricane just sat over the Bahamas for more than a day, really about 2 days, and did a lot of damage. And right now, I reached out yesterday to former Jacksonville University women's basketball coach, Yolette McPhee-McEwen, and she has family and friends, and she can tell us a little bit more about that in the Bahamas. But I wanted to see how she was doing, how everybody was doing, and how anybody could help, because I know she got a lot of friends in the Jacksonville area as well. Former JU women's basketball coach, current Ole Miss women's basketball coach. Coach Yo is what we call her. How are you, Coach?
Brent, how are you?
Great to hear from you.
Good to hear. I feel like a superstar being on the show. I hate it for this reason, but thanks for the invite.
Well, we always love to hear from you anyway, and hope you're doing well. Been following you a little bit at Ole Miss, too, and that's an awesome step in your coaching career, and hope things are going well with the women's basketball program. But when I saw all the mentions on Twitter and the thoughts about your family and friends, give us a little bit of background, just how much it impacted the Bahamas.
Oh, my gosh. Well, this is our second Category 5 in the Bahamas. The first one was Hurricane Andrew. And we had to do major rebuild then, and that was in 1992. And so the hurricane, when it first was on the horizon, it was a Category 3. Well, in the Bahamas, that's no big deal. But before people could get out, it turned into a Category 5, and it hovered over the island for 48 hours, causing catastrophic damage. I mean, people's homes were flooded. Hundreds of people lost their lives. 80% of Grand Bahama was flooded, and Abaco is wiped out completely. So it's just super depressing, and right now we just need help from anybody.
Coach Yo, how many folk, I mean, family, friends, how have you been in communication with folks back in the Bahamas? Is that even possible given the circumstances?
Well, at first I couldn't reach my parents, so you can understand the panic I went through for 2 days. And then finally some of the lines opened up, and some of my former high school classmates went to their home and found them for me to make sure that they were okay, and thankfully they were. But people have, so far, the death toll is up to 25. And that's a lot, because Bahamas only has 200,000 people, and this is just, and they're not even done. Like a lot of the settlements are still underwater. So the discovery is going to continue to be heartbreaking as the water drains out. One guy was on TV last night talking about how his wife drowned right in front of him. It's just really sad that anybody has to go through this, and especially our little country in the Bahamas.
Beautiful country it is, too. Coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen, former Jacksonville University women's basketball coach, now the women's basketball coach at Ole Miss, joining us. Obviously, Bahamas native land, her parents still there, many friends and family still there. You actually have done a lot in the Bahamas. Your resume says you're still coaching. I don't know specifically what team you do coach there, but you also have a Back to Basics foundation that you started to help the youth in the Bahamas. Give us a little bit more of that background, how connected you still are, even though you're now in the States full time.
Well, I was born and raised in the Bahamas. I came to the United States to play college basketball. That was my first time. And I am the national team coach, the senior women's national team coach. And so, this is a place that gave me all my values, my work ethic, just everything about me was that my foundation is in the Bahamas. So I'm home at least 2-3 times a year, and my kids spend every summer down there. Talk about a vacation. They spend summers down in the Bahamas, and so I am super connected. All of my family is there. Like, I don't have any family in the United States other than my immediate now. I'm married with 2 kids, but it is near and dear to me. And actually, I was flying home next week because my dad was receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award, which that's not going to happen. But at the time, I was flying down next week to go to that event.
And he's a legendary basketball coach in the Bahamas, right?
Yes. He's a legendary basketball coach. He coached the Olympic team. He has dedicated his life to youth and basketball. He has his own foundation helping our youth through education and sports, and he's since retired. So as soon as we had kids, they both retired. My mom was a teacher for 30 years. And so, the Bahamas is near and dear to me. And so I wanted to give back, and I knew the easiest way was to create a GoFundMe account. And so if you want to help, and we're accepting, I don't care if it's $5, with donations. And if you type in Coach Yo, it'll pop up. It's the Hurricane Dorian Relief with Coach Yo. And what I want to do with the funds is I want to get boots on the ground and support the organizations that are in place to take care of rebuilding the Bahamas, but also let's think about the mental care that people are going to need. Kids watch their homes get wiped away. Families, parents are worried about how are they going to provide for their kids if there's no jobs. Like, the airport is underwater. So this is going to be something that's not just for now. It's going to be years in the working. And so I'm trying to raise $50,000 to do my part, to be able to help back into building the Bahamas.
And once again, that's Coach Yo. You can look up on the GoFundMe account and help the cause out. We'll continue to spread the message, not just today here on the show, but on social media as well, and maybe do our part to help you get some more dollars for that effort. I think it's cool that you're doing that. You have a lot of great friends all over the place, too. Obviously, the Bahamas is what you're trying to raise money for, but I always loved the fact I'm an East Providence, Rhode Island guy, and you graduated from the Rhody Rams. So how much have people reached out to you from here in Jacksonville and your days at JU, back in Rhode Island, and of course I'm sure the Ole Miss family's now helping you out too and supporting.
Oh yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, really, I have just broken down in tears. Just really grateful for the people that have contributed. I've even had players from other universities donate to the GoFundMe that I had never even met. And so it just shows the impact that a sport can have on people. And so JU has had my back. I've gotten donations from numerous people there that I didn't even know was paying attention. And then obviously the women's basketball community, but just the community in general, the social media community. We need to call that a community too, because you know, it's like you're friends with people that you've never met. So the social media community has jumped on board and has really helped with it. And in a day, we've raised $15,000.
That's awesome, and that will keep up. And everybody contribute if you can, if you have the means to do so. Help the folks in the Bahamas. I think everybody was touched by that scene, just watching the storm sit there, and now some of the images that have obviously come out of the Bahamas. Our thoughts are with your family and everybody else. I don't want to leave you without asking. I know basketball's secondary at the moment, but you had such success here at JU, and you did fantastic things with the Jacksonville women's program. Made it to the postseason the last few years in your career in Jacksonville, and then deservedly so got a chance at Ole Miss in the SEC. How's your basketball team doing? How do you like it there at Ole Miss?
Yeah, well, I love it at Ole Miss. You know, I'm always going to be a Dolphin. You know, that's the first place that gave me an opportunity. And actually, we just got a commitment from a young lady down there, and I've been talking to Coach Haney about getting back down there and playing at the historic Swisher Gymnasium.
Nice.
And so this job is similar to JU when I first took over. It is a rebuild, and but I'm feeling hopeful about the future. Our recruiting has been incredible, and so we're going to see the benefits of that the following season. And this year, we're just going to go out and compete real hard. We play on the 29th and the 30th in Daytona. That's close by.
Yeah, very good.
So we play in Daytona. We would love people to come out. You can get our schedules from our website, and you know, I just love it. I love the support, you know, and the resources, obviously. And just playing in the SEC has been incredible.
Well, we are happy for you. We wish you the best of luck in this basketball season. And that SEC platform is even bigger than the one you would have had in the A-Sun. So that hopefully will help create more dollars for your family and friends back in the Bahamas. You have a $1 million smile, a magnetic personality. I'm sure that will help hopefully create a lot of dollars too. But we wanted to do our part and at least spread the word. GoFundMe page, Coach Yo. Y-O. Look it up, see if you can contribute, and every dollar will help toward the fine folks in the Bahamas. Great catching up with you, and give everyone our best.
Thank you so much, Brent. Okay, take care.
Good luck this season, Coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen, former JU women's basketball coach, now the women's basketball coach at Ole Miss. And again, our thoughts and prayers with her family and everybody in the Bahamas. Those images are not going to get any better coming out of the Bahamas over the next couple of days. It's just amazing if you see some of the images that are already out of there. I didn't realize the death toll is already up to 25. Coach Yo just told us that. Man, this was a storm that did some some things that I'd never seen before. Not that I'm a scientist or an expert in meteorology, but what it did over the Bahamas was something else. So good luck raising some funds. And once again, it's the GoFundMe page, Coach Yo. Look that up. Her quest to raise $50,000 for the fine folks in the Bahamas. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we have Stay in Your Lane. Let's talk a little bit more football as we get back to that part of it. The Jazz will be back to work tomorrow. Everything is kind of back on here in Jacksonville. Business as usual starting later tonight and into Thursday. What it means for the Jaguars and maybe the college football scene too. All on the way. Coming up on ESPN 690.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Florida high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
Hey, what in the name of Lester Jackson are you doing?
Oh, hey, boss. Well, since these folks are out of town, I figured I had time to make a Sammy.
You what?
Yep, it's a peanut butter banana sandwich, just like Elvis.
Wait, when are the owners of this place getting back?
Well, the social media account says tomorrow around noon, so relax.
Huh. Well, don't leave a mess. That would be rude.
Boss, how is it possible in this day and age that folks like this don't have safe touch security?
Beats me. Seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, from the two-way communicator to the crash and smash technology to video monitoring.
Hey, if these folks had safe touch, we wouldn't be within a mile of this place.
And that's why we live by the Crooks R Us motto.
Stay away from safe touch houses. Yeah. Hey, pass the bread, will ya?
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Savings on top of huge selection on top of rave customer reviews. That's how they do the National Clearance Event at Arlington Toyota. During the National Clearance Event, you can take your pick from over 1,000 new and pre-owned on Arlington's lot. I mean, come on! 1,000 vehicles. You know you're going to find what you want and save during the National Clearance Event at Arlington. Right now, during the National Clearance Event at Arlington, buy a 2019 Corolla LE from just $14,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE from just $14,888. Or buy a 2019 Tacoma SR5 from just $24,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 Tacoma SR5 from just $24,888. Plus, you get the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club with your purchase. Just one of the tons of reasons why Arlington's earned 4.7 out of 5 stars and over 7,000 Google reviews. Arlington knows how to do the national clearance sale right, but you've got to get it while the getting is good. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online 24/7 at arlingtontoyota.com.
Will Stan Van Gundy dance at an Elton John concert? Is that something that's ever happened? Is it something that ever would happen?
No. The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and on your smart speaker.
All right, welcome back here. We'll take you up until 6 o'clock like we always do on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. And then I feel like we'll get a little bit back to normal tomorrow. And in the next couple of days, we'll get you set for the Jaguars. We'll talk a little more college football as well as we head into week 2 of the college season. We've got some picks coming up on Friday. Can't wait to get into that. Fantasy football. How about tomorrow? We go a little fantasy football at like 4 o'clock. We're going to live draft through the show. Yep. I have no idea how this works. I don't even do fantasy football very often, so now I have to juggle 2 things. I got a feeling you won't even be talking to me because you're going to be locked in on trying to win this deal.
To my notes, yeah, of course. Brent, I mean, if you're going to play, you better play to win. That's all I'm going to say.
Do we have an interview going on at the same time at all?
What's that?
Do we have an interview happening at the same time?
I've tried to avoid scheduling one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how long will this go on for?
It depends.
Like an hour? Maybe longer?
Let's go and bump that up a little bit. Yeah. Well, so I mean, it could take like an hour and 45 minutes, pending everyone takes the full minute per pick. But, people go pretty fast with their picks. So it would probably take about an hour, 20 minutes.
It'll go fast, and then towards the later rounds, it'll slow up.
It's not like we're going anywhere, Brent. We're here for 3 hours a day.
We are.
Yep.
I'm just debating on whether people want to really hear about who we're picking.
Oh, yeah, I doubt it.
Maybe
but
every
people
once
love
in a while.
Fantasy football thoughts. Like I had one today. Okay, here's what I'm going to give this
like some kind of fantasy football Fridays or something.
Well, we can do it any day.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the question I get. Now, listen, this is a guy that does not play a lot of fantasy football, but I get a lot of fantasy football questions.
Well, then direct him towards me, the guy who's won his championship the last 2 years.
For fantasy QBs this week? Mahomes against Jacksonville, stingy defense, or Mitchell Trubisky at home on primetime Thursday Night Football? Is this what it's going to sound like tomorrow from 4 to 5?
That's what it's going to sound like.
Can I
really?
Can I
have dead air?
Can I think
Can we
about
at
it?
least play some music or something?
Fine. Just go with Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes. All day. Mahomes.
You're fine. Like, you don't have to. Like,
No,
I'm taking my ball and going home. I mean,
well, dude, do you want me to sit and think about it a little bit, or you want me to give a fast answer? No, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. I think Thursday night against Green Bay. Green Bay's defense is susceptible, but listen, the Bears' offense hasn't been anything to shake a stick at lately. Allen Robinson's healthy again. You got Tariq Cohen. You got the new kid at running back. But I think the Bears can try to pound the rock, slow the game down, especially against the Green Bay team that relies on passing the ball, especially with Aaron Jones. Their running back in the backfield is more of a pass catcher than he is a power runner. So it could be kind of a track meet. I see the Bears slowing the game down.
All right, so here's what I said. Okay, as the expert.
Exactly what I just said.
I said, okay, hard to sit Mahomes because he will throw so much.
Yes.
And I'm not a Mitchell Trubisky fan.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said, do you think Jacksonville will allow 3 touchdowns? I said, yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I think 27 points or under is what their goal should be.
Correct.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right. There you go.
Send.
That's my first. No, I already sent it.
Oh, you already sent it. Okay.
Like a while ago.
Yeah,
but that was my first bit of fantasy football advice.
Oh, I'm definitely taking Patrick Mahomes over Trubisky. Good call.
I think it was a good question, though.
I get it. I mean, it's the Jacksonville defense, right? And Patrick Mahomes, assuming that you drafted him probably in the first 3 rounds, you drafted him super high for a quarterback, so all your chips are kind of in that boat. You kind of have to roll Patrick Mahomes if you can, and yeah, I think even against Jacksonville, Mahomes should be all right.
I'm going to put it on Twitter right now while you do stay in your lane. Fantasy football this week, Mahomes or Trubisky, and we'll see what we get.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you got to go Mahomes. Do you want me to tell you my NCAA predictions real quick, too?
Oh, yeah, you never did that.
I never did that.
What, are you going to tell me in, like, October?
I was thinking about it. Well, Brent, I'm all about storylines, right? Check out these storylines. My predictions. 1 seed, Bama. 2 seed, Ohio State. 3 seed, Georgia. 4 seed, Oklahoma.
Do it again. Let me digest it.
Alabama.
Yep.
2 seed, Ohio State. 3 seed is going to be Georgia, and the 4 seed is going to be Oklahoma. It's going to be Bama versus Oklahoma. It's going to be
Ertz.
It's going to be
Ertz versus Tua.
Exactly, and it's going to be
Fields and Fromm.
Exactly.
I
get this. And I have Bama winning against Oklahoma. I got Ohio State beating Georgia, and I have Bama winning the whole thing.
Well, yeah.
Clemson's not making it.
Way to go out on a limb.
What do you think about that?
Actually, you did by Clemson.
Clemson second. That's a limb, man.
So what actually you did is you said, all right, screw you, Pac-12. You're terrible anyway, so we know you're not getting in again. And then you said,
I have Clemson either losing to A&M this weekend or Syracuse possibly at Syracuse.
That's coming up. I think it's the next week game.
Correct.
And so instead, you replace them with a good Georgia team.
Correct.
Well, but it's fascinating because two teams obviously can get in, and the SEC has done that before. It's just how that manifests itself.
Yeah.
You know, where does the loss come and what creates that situation?
Yep.
And in honest, I mean, in all reality, nothing to do with honest or fair, is Clemson probably even with a loss early might be able to get in themselves.
Oh, without a
because
doubt.
there'll be so much respect, especially if they start crushing people again.
Yeah.
But with their schedule, with the expectations, can they get away with a loss? That'll be fascinating. I like it.
There
I like
you go.
you went out,
Hey,
you went
it's
different.
storylines, though, man. It's all the transfer portal. That's what I was going with.
It's all about the transfer portal.
That's what I'm going with.
That'd be fascinating.
All right, stay in your lane. I thought you put the song, Kuz. My bad. Yeah. Start up the car.
It's funny because usually we're not ready for the the storm tracker to start up.
I literally put it in my notes. Get ready for the song because it always messes up my flow when I go to stay in your lane. So I had it in my notes today.
Can you just put in your notes? Don't get ready for the song, but get ready for the sound effect.
Yeah, there you go.
It's kind of like a drop versus a button.
Good call. Oh, debatable. Cruise control, Brent. I think if we look back at the U.S. Open this year, and granted it's still going on right now, but I think it's safe to say that when Venus and Serena Williams decide to retire, whenever that is, the game of tennis in terms of the women is going to be in great hands with players like Naomi Osaka and Coco Gauff. Listen to this post-match interview after Naomi Osaka beat Coco Gauff this past weekend. A little note here, Coco Gauff was the youngest competitor to make it in the third round since 1996, and that was Anna Kournikova. But check out this post-match interview here.
Tell us what Naomi told you at the net.
She told me that I did amazing and good luck, and then she asked if I could do the on-court interview with her, and I said no because I knew I was going to cry the whole time, but she encouraged me to do it.
What has the experience been like? And tonight playing against one of the very best in the world, #1, Naomi.
I mean, it was amazing. I mean, she did amazing, and I'm going to learn a lot from this match, and she's been so sweet to me, so thank you for this. Thank you.
So that's Coco Gauff, 15 years old, on one of tennis's biggest stages. And I thought losing with a bunch of class, a bunch of dignity. Because, Brandon, if I was 15 years old in this situation, I would have been heading for the hills and crying my eyes out. But not to be outdone, Naomi Osaka also had something to say. Obviously, she was the winner. And listen to what she says about Coco Gauff and her parents.
You're used to being the young one. What's it like now being the veteran and mentoring someone like Coco?
I mean, I don't think I'm a mentor. I just want to say, if they're still here, you guys raised an amazing player. I remember I used to see you guys. I don't want to cry. I remember I used to see you guys. Sorry.
This is an emotional night, everybody.
I remember I used to see you guys training in the same place as us. And for me, like the fact that both of us made it, and we're both still working as hard as we can, I think it's incredible. And I think you guys are amazing. I think, Coco, you're amazing.
There you go.
I think it's,
women's tennis for ladies and
that was
gentlemen.
pretty good. I saw that, and I thought it was pretty good. And there's two thoughts I have in this. One is I have two 14-year-olds. So Gauff at 15 years old, to be the presence she has, it's amazing when you are a star athlete, how, and probably this could be the case in a lot of different things, but we're around athletes and a lot of young athletes that do really well. I say this even about like high school seniors or young, like, the big time quarterback, maybe a Trevor Lawrence or somebody like that gets all the attention at a young age. It's not easy, but it makes you grow up so much faster. You have to grow up so much faster than everybody else because you have to carry yourself in a certain way or you will be criticized in front of millions. It's just the way it is. They don't care if you're 15 or not. And so
that's a good point.
I think there's something, and then there's also this genuine innocence about an athlete that's 15, right?
Yeah.
It just comes across, it is what it is. And I think that was special about that moment. The other thing that all of a sudden, women's tennis, which I really hadn't heard much about in years, other than Serena Williams and Venus Williams. I think a lot of this is Serena Williams, but they've done a nice job for the sport and for sports in general in the last couple of months in really just a couple of weeks. Remember Serena Williams? Didn't we play the part where she had to retire because of an injury?
Correct.
She tried to gut it out, and then her opponent was saying, I really didn't want to win this way. I've looked up to you, dropped some F-bombs in that conversation too.
Yeah.
And that was cool. It was like this sportsmanship of women's tennis in the last couple of weeks, maybe it's been a month, has really been evident. Mm-hmm. And I think it's good for sports in general. I think it's good for young athletes. And I think it's specifically good for young female athletes to take a look at. So I think women's tennis has had a very nice couple of moments with this one, and going back to the Serena moment a few weeks back.
Yeah.
And Serena's been so good anyway on the platform on so many different levels, now being a mom, coming back, talking about being a mom and playing a professional sport. So there's a lot of good momentum, I feel like, in the tennis world on the women's side that I hadn't really felt for a long, long time, just because it was dominated pretty much by Serena Williams.
Of course, and you have the younger talent, Brent, because don't forget, Osaka's only 21 years old, so she's young in her own right. But then you have the men's side, and listen, Federer's not going to play forever.
I proved that last night.
Djokovic's not going to play forever. Nadal's not going to play forever. And it seems like the new batch of young guys coming up are cocky, arrogant, and are making the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Now, yes,
could be good.
It is good. I mean, it's like that John McEnroe kind of esque, right? Where I think
personality, not clean cut.
And I think at the time when John McEnroe was big, I think people were annoyed with him. But it wasn't until years later where you kind of realized the brilliance. Kind of like, I mean, I'd have John McEnroe in my generation. I didn't really know who he was, but watching his old highlight films and everything, I can appreciate it. And I think that's what's maybe happening now, but we'll see. I think the fact that the younger guys, too, are European or they're foreign. Another guy from Australia, I forgot his name, but he's kind of outlandish and out there as well.
Yeah, that's Garicus.
Yeah.
Garicus, I think.
Yeah, so
he's I have a hard time watching him, but again, he might be good for tennis.
He might be good for tennis.
Because he's a moron on the court.
But the fact that he's not American, might hurt him here in the States, but I'm not sure how it is on a global scale. So we'll see.
Here's what I always say, too, is that, golf could really help women's tennis if she's a star, because we need American stars.
Yeah.
You do. I mean, at least from maybe not tennis in the international game, but from the United States brand, you need American stars.
Yeah.
And on the men's side, there's been nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, you cling to John Isner? Probably not. I mean, Andy Roddick was the best one, and he was really, in the grand scheme of things, Andy Roddick compared to like the Agassi's and Sampras's and obviously the Federers and Nadal. I mean, Andy Roddick was mid-level. But for an American, he was like our American star for a while.
Yeah.
So you're right. I mean, the personalities on the men's side, the sportsmanship on the women's side, maybe it is a little bit of a revival of sorts for tennis. It could be. We'll see where it goes. I've been watching the U.S. Open, I always gauge it off Ty, too. See, Ty watches everything.
Yeah.
But if you got a kid he's 14 years old and he's watching, he's been locked in on the tennis.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good thing for the sport if a kid's watching it.
No, I agree with you completely, for sure. We got to pump your brakes real quick or not?
I guess we do have to do that.
Yeah, pump your brakes real fast. Over the weekend, All Elite Wrestling, All Out took place. We could talk about it maybe more tomorrow. But one of the biggest stories is Chris Jericho beating Hangman Page for the championship, the heavyweight championship of the world. Supposedly, I thought this was kind of just like a...
Was it staged?
Well, it wasn't. I thought it was staged until the Tallahassee police actually reported the incident and posted it to the website. It's too long to read, but basically what happened was Jericho went to Longhorn Steakhouse, left the belt in the cab. Cab comes back and the belt is gone. But
it had to be staged, man. Who leaves a championship belt in a cab?
But I'm glad to say that the belt has been recovered according to the Tallahassee Police Department. Is this a work? Did this actually happen? I'm not sure, but people are talking about it, so who knows?
All right, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Jags will be back at work tomorrow, and I'm going to go work on my body for the next body issue. Have a good night. Thanks for listening. Hey, everybody. This is Brent Martineau. The Greater Jacksonville Area Cadillac Dealers Action Sports Jax Dream 18 is just around the corner. September 16th at the Golf Club at Southampton. Thanks to our presenting sponsors as well.